Okay, I think that we can start now. Maybe some extra explanations. This is an event of the European Parliament Social Economy Intergroup that was reconstructed, that was renewed in January this year, thanks to the support of over 77 MEPs. And because of the pandemic, it is the first event that we do, and we do it as an online event. As we already have 215 people, I will ask all the speakers that are not participating in this first roundtable to put the camera off. So this is a message particularly to Mr. Verasani and Mr. Shivan Fate. Please put the camera off. You will put it on later on. I will ask you. And without further comments, we are starting this event on co-designing a European action plan for the social economy as a leverage for the economic and social recovery of Europe. I will give the floor first to the two co-chairs of the Social Economy Intergroup, first to Mrs. Patrizia Toia, and afterwards to Mrs. Sven Giegold. So please, Mrs. Toia, the floor is yours.
Grazie, thank you very much, and good afternoon to all. Io parlerò in italiano. We speak Italian, my tongue language, and as you mentioned, Italian is Korean translation. Very strange, but a technical problem of linking to this platform Zoom. Sono molto lieta di aprire questa giornata e di sapere che c'è stata anche una grandissima partecipazione. Questo evento ha avuto una grandissima partecipazione, il che significa che questo tema è molto sentito e molto partecipato all'interno della nostra Unione Europea. È un evento importante non solo per il tema, ma perché oggi sono riuniti tutti i protagonisti istituzionali e non, che possono concorrere a un rilancio dell'economia sociale. E parto dalla Commissione. Parto dal commissario Schmit, che tutti noi apprezziamo molto, che conosce molto bene questo settore ed è anche un grande sostenitore. E noi confidiamo che lui possa davvero dare un impulso nuovo a tutta l'attività dell'Europa verso il terzo settore. Devo dire francamente che in questi anni c'è stato un certo rallentamento di impegno e dobbiamo risalire ancora alla Commissione con Andor, con Barnier, con Tajani, che fece quel grande evento alla fiera di Strasburgo con 2000 presenze del mondo dei soggetti dell'economia sociale, e poi molto si è perso. Ora dobbiamo davvero ricominciare. Quindi grazie di cuore e contiamo molto su di te, caro Nicolas. Poi è presente anche il Consiglio, perché ci sono ministri, rappresentanti del governo di vari paesi dell'Unione Europea che dunque rappresentano anche l'intero Consiglio. E poi c'è il Parlamento, come tu hai richiamato, con il ricostituito intergruppo dell'economia sociale, che può essere davvero un interlocutore, un propulsore e un motore di questo avanzamento. E infine, non certo ultimi per importanza, gli amici di Social Economy Europe e tutti i soggetti, i veri stakeholder. Ringrazio per tutti l'amico Pedreño, che vedo qui inquadrato, e che l'intergruppo saprà avvalersi e si è già avvalso del sostegno e del supporto di della vostra associazione. Dicevo, siamo in una fase nuova. Tutti noi abbiamo visto e constatato il grande impegno, il grande contributo dell'economia sociale a tutte le risposte di emergenza che sono state date nella fase della crisi più acuta dal punto di vista sanitario, e tutti noi sappiamo però che ci dovrà essere anche un grande ruolo in questo settore nella fase della ricostruzione economica, ricostruzione sociale, oltre che ricostruzione sanitaria. Ma perché questo spazio ci sia, occorre che le istituzioni aprano le porte, diano risorse, strumenti, regole, perché il terzo settore possa essere davvero protagonista della fase del recovery plan e di tutti, diciamo, gli interventi previsti in Next Generation EU. Tutti noi parliamo di un nuovo modello per la nostra società, nuovo modello economico, nuovo modello di vita sociale. E allora penso che il terzo settore ha conquistato davvero il titolo a essere un protagonista. Vogliamo un'economia più resiliente, più sostenibile? Le imprese del terzo settore hanno lavorato proprio per la resilienza. Non sono andate a fare delocalizzazioni, hanno mantenuto nel territorio la loro base e il loro impegno. Vogliamo un'economia più attenta alle persone? E anche qui il terzo settore può rispondere in modo assolutamente primario nell'attenzione al lavoratore, anche al lavoratore disagiato, a tutte le persone che attorno ai servizi di questo mondo operano, e penso anche alla dimensione di genere, perché nel mondo del terzo settore la donna ha una presenza significativa. Infine vogliamo un'economia nuova che generi valore, non solo profitto, non solo prodotto, non solo servizi, ma anche valore. E penso che il terzo settore ha molta esperienza, ha molta competenza e molto da dire anche sulla generazione di valore, che vuole dire capitale umano, vuole dire nuovi modelli di business, di organizzazione di impresa, con tutto il tema dell'innovazione sociale. E noi sappiamo quanto c'è bisogno nel futuro dell'Europa di questa innovazione sociale. Poi il tema della sanità, che oggi è diventato cruciale. Anche qui il terzo settore in certi paesi europei ha una posizione molto significativa, penso alle mutuelle, in Belgio, in Francia o in altri paesi, e può aprire una strada anche per una diversa organizzazione sanitaria. Infine, e questo è sempre stato un po' il mio pallino, anche se forse non l'abbiamo bene sviluppato, il terzo settore, che noi vediamo oggi è distribuito in modo disomogeneo nei diversi Stati membri, può essere un modello da avvicinare, da proporre anche ad altri paesi europei, dove non è conosciuto, dove non è sviluppato. E questa esperienza, che io invito anche gli amici di Social Economy Europe a fare, può portare anche a ridurre le distanze che si sono create nell'Unione Europea tra paesi dell'est e paesi dell'ovest, tra paesi del nord e paesi del sud. Quindi c'è un ruolo di presenza, di partecipazione nella vita sociale che può avvicinare le diverse Europe che oggi purtroppo a volte drammaticamente si allontanano. Infine, cosa possiamo fare? Qualche tentativo l'abbiamo fatto negli anni scorsi, anche recenti, come Parlamento, di mettere alcuni punti che dimostrassero concretamente che si aprivano spazi per il terzo settore. Due esempi, penso a InvestEU. In InvestEU, nel programma di finanziamenti, il terzo settore entra come soggetto che può agire a queste possibilità e come contenuti, finalità. Il tema delle infrastrutture sociali per la prima volta entra nei finanziamenti possibili dell'Unione Europea. Abbiamo fatto un gran lavoro, c'era il Presidente Gualtieri allora a fare il Presidente della ECO, noi abbiamo fatto degli emendamenti, lui li ha portati a termine. Abbiamo tentato di farlo anche con Cosme, che non ha ancora finito il negoziato. Io sono relatrice del pezzo delle PMI, ho messo dentro che i contributi che si danno alle PMI, alle imprese dell'economia di mercato, devono poter essere anche per le imprese del mondo della cooperazione e delle imprese sociali. Vedremo come va a finire, se tutti i gruppi politici saranno compatti nel sostenere questi emendamenti. Non è ancora finita e molte difficoltà ci sono. Ma la parte grande deve arrivare con il recovery plan. Ecco, qui chiediamo al commissario e siamo pronti a fare una grande alleanza con lui, proprio per dire che nel recovery, nel Next Generation Europe, per chiamarlo col suo nome più proprio e più bello, il mondo dell'economia sociale deve essere protagonista. Se l'è conquistato sul campo, voi fate proposte, voi postate modelli e noi cercheremo dal lato delle istituzioni di aprire questi spazi. Questo mi sembra l'obiettivo principale, non a vantaggio del mondo dell'economia sociale, ma a vantaggio dell'insieme della società e dell'economia europea. Grazie.
Thank you very much for this intervention, Honorable Toia. We will pass the floor now to the other co-chair of the Intergroup, Sven Giegold, German Green MEP. And I want to especially thank Sven because he has helped a lot with the organization of these events, also from a technical point of view, both himself and his team. So he has been key to organize this event. Thank you, Sven, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Victor. Thank you, Patrizia. It's really great to be together here. This coronavirus has really hindered a lot of necessary work in Europe, and it's good that we move now to the digital space with this important issue. Also, I think we have now the largest event we've had so far as an intergroup, and it shows the importance of the subject. So it shows the importance of the subject in these times. People expect that the economy after the corona crisis will move more towards a social and environmental and for the common good orientation than the economy we had before. And therefore, this mission to Commissioner Schmit to bring about an EU action plan for the social economy comes really at the right moment. And this is the moment to concentrate all the different efforts. We have to be fair. We were disappointed that the last Commission didn't do very much in order to support the social and solidarity economy. We have seen before the strong activities by Michel Barnier with the Social Business Initiative, and I think this is exactly the spirit we have to get back. And I'm extremely confident that we will manage, because Nicolas Schmit has proven in the Council, in his former role as Minister from Luxembourg, that he is a leader in this area, and I hope that Parliament, Member States, and the Commission can now together bring about change. And this, of course, there is a long list of things which has to be tackled. I only would like to name a few. So when we see that billions and billions are spent at the moment in state aid, then it shows.
Sven, sorry to cut you, but there seems to be a problem with your sound. So sometimes we hear your microphone very well, and sometimes we don't, and there are some comments in the...
Okay, I hope it's better now.
Now it's a bit better.
Sorry about this. So I was saying that I think there are a lot of issues to tackle. And I only would like to name a few key ones. So first, we are spending hundreds of billions at the moment in new state aid to support the economy. On the other hand, state aid law and European competition law often still stands in the way when it comes to supporting the social and solidarity economy. I believe it's the right moment to make it easier for employee buyouts, like we had it in the Italian Macora law, rather than to put limits and brakes to such tools through European law. The same applies to fair trade. It must be possible that a group of supermarkets can get together setting minimum environmental and social standards with its sourcing. This is not a danger to European competition. It is the basis for fair competition. Equally, it must become easier when it comes even easier than today to include regional social environmental rules into public procurement. Beyond that, all EU regulation has to be neutral, at least when it comes to the social and solidarity economy. Again and again, we learn that rules which have been set for the whole common market are designed for traditional companies. So cooperatives, associations, non-for-profit social enterprises must be treated equally in the view of European law. And I think it is very important that the Commission, in the work run-up for the action plan, collects all the evidence for an unequal treatment as we see them, for instance, between cooperative banks and non-cooperative banks. We have equally the issue of statistics. Only what is being measured counts. Eurostat has since a long time a clear mandate to collect more viable statistics for the social and solidarity economy. So far, these statistics are not really up for use, and it's time to realize it. I could have an even longer list, but I would like to stress one issue which is really close to my heart. We have the European cooperative society. That is important. But we do not have a European association, a European mutuelle. We don't have a European foundation. If you want together to organize European civil society or economic initiatives as European civil society and ask for donations, you have to go set up a charitable foundation in each of the 27 member states. We need a sort of European charitable status, at least as a 28th regime, so that cross-border civil society and cross-border civil society-driven economic activities can flourish without a huge maze of bureaucracy. So, therefore, I think it is key beyond traditional financing tools, I'm sure we will speak about this as well, that we really confront these issues and use the opportunity of that action plan in order to bring about real change. And that means we are not only talking about symbolic activities, but real changes to budget and to regulation. So this is, I think, the job we have to do for the next years. And this meeting here is a good start. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sven, for this very comprehensive presentation that you have done about the expectations for the upcoming European Action Plan for the social economy. And we have the honor to have among us Commissioner Nicolas Schmit. Commissioner Nicolas Schmit was formerly Minister for Labor and Social Economy of Luxembourg. He was the creator of the Monitoring Committee of Luxembourg Declaration. A bit of a complex name, but that means a high-level group of member states engaged in the promotion of the social economy. He has been, in short, a champion for the social economy. He promoted the Council conclusions of 2015 for social economy, and now he's commissioner, and he has been tasked, and of course he has had an influence on that, to develop a European action plan for the social economy. So we will directly give you the floor, Commissioner, to react on these interventions and share with us your plans for the action plan and for the role of the social economy in this urgent economic and social recovery that Europe needs. The floor is yours.
Yes, dear co-chairs, dear members of the intergroup, dear President of Social Economy Europe, and all those who are participating today in this meeting. First, I would like to congratulate you for the creation of the intergroup. I could have been part of this intergroup. Now I am the first interlocutor of this intergroup. So this is fine. I enjoy that very much. And I just would like to pay tribute to somebody from whom I learned a lot. That is Jens Nielsen. He normally would be part of this meeting, of this intergroup, if he hadn't passed away so early and so abruptly. So I must say I came several times to the previous intergroup. He was a co-chair of, and I must say he convinced me very much to the social economy, and also to some kind of pragmatic approach. Very operational approach to the issues linked to social economy. Well, I must say I thank also Sven for the very precise and very concrete issues you mentioned. I think this is part of our mission to give clear, operational, efficient answers which permit social economy to work better, to reinforce, to strengthen the European dimension of social economy, and finally also to make social economy more attractive and better known, because sometimes I hear that finally there is a deficit, not of action, but sometimes of perception or of knowledge around the social economy. As I mentioned already, I also want to thank Patrizia very much, because she helped a lot to create with Sven this intergroup. And I thank you very much for that. And I thank you also for your very committed and important speech you gave us just now. Now, I told you that I had already a meeting with the expert group on social economy and social enterprise on April 29th. And we also had a good exchange of views how we can promote this action. Now we have certainly to be aware that the crisis we are in has in a way opened new opportunities for the social economy on one hand, but has also made life not easier for many entities. We mentioned that already before. Because when I hear that from the French Association of Social Economy, for instance, only 20% of French social economy entities manage to maintain more than 20% of their activities. This is also showing that, like many other enterprises, and especially small and medium-sized enterprises, the entities or enterprises of social economy have been very much affected by this crisis. So there is a high social cost given the role of those organizations in promoting social cohesion, filling gaps in welfare and in general interest service delivery. I must say, just before the beginning of the crisis, I had a meeting with NGOs very much active in the social field and using our fund for the most deprived. And they came to me and said to me, well, we want to make sure that we still will have the funding for the most deprived people. That was before the crisis. And now we discover what happens in many member states, even the most prosperous member states. Tens or even eventually hundreds of thousands of people need the money coming for the fund of the most deprived, need all these people who are organizing food aid. Because without these food banks, without this very concrete support, we would have in Europe a lot of people, a lot of children being hungry. This is what the reality of this crisis is. And this shows also that this commitment of all these social organizations, social enterprises, social entities, well, I am not very orthodox on this naming. Well, they are doing a daily job, which we just cannot miss, because if we miss this job, our social problems would even be much bigger. Now, I give a few measures which the EU has taken in support of not just social economy, but also enterprises. But we have always made very clear that these measures should also apply to social economy. So we first have adopted measures which we call, and you know that because the Parliament approved them, the CRE, so this is the Corona Response Initiative. And here we gave the member states all the flexibility to use structural funds. So also to help SMEs, to help short-term work schemes, but also to help all entities of the social economy. So this was explicitly said, because by the way, I addressed a letter to all the ministers in the 27 member states to say, well, please watch what happens in the sector of social economy and just take care also of these enterprises, just to attract their attention to the very concrete situation. And here I must say that the extension of the scope of the EU Solidarity Fund to the health crisis certainly could also be extended to operations of the social economy. The European Instrument for Temporary Support to ensure that workers receive an income and businesses through SURE, that's for supporting the short-time work. Well, for me, it's very clear that entities of social economy, especially if their activities have, because of the confinement, dropped so much, should also be eligible for short-time work. State aid rules were mentioned. Well, this is an important and complex issue, because the point is, on one hand, we had to do that, but I know that those who come from the social economy are very observe what happens here in the state aid very closely, and they are this is right. But on the other hand, I think the Commission had to be more flexible on the state aid. But this is an issue we also have to discuss in the context of social economy. Now, we are exploring whether additional flexibility can be introduced into the existing financial instruments and grants for microfinance and social enterprises of the Employment and Social Innovation Program. In addition, we want to ensure that the post-2020 funding programs can address the post-crisis needs of European businesses, including social economy. And this includes the social window of Invest EU, which will continue the support provided for microfinance and social enterprises. Last week, the Commission has put forward an ambitious recovery plan for Europe, including additional finances and new programs to adapt the multi-annual financial framework to the new challenges. And I mentioned already the resilience aspect, and I think one of the major qualities of the social economy is precisely the resilience, but not just as a sector itself, but also to bring more resilience in our economy and especially also in our society. The package of measures not only tops up funding for existing instruments and programs, because we are launching, or we want to launch also a more emergency program, which is called REACT EU, with I think financial means of 55 billion, and part of this money can be invested also in social supports, employment, especially also the employment of young people, which will be one of our major priority and major challenges in the forthcoming months, because the young risk to be, among others, among many others, also victims of this crisis in many member states. So we have already heard from many member states who have taken measures to support the social economy or to include social economy actors in the scope of several COVID-related actions. For example, in France, Italy, Portugal, and Belgium. These include the easing of legal requirements for funding, employment, and decision-making, support to maintain jobs, and the creation of specific credit lines for the social sector. Local support systems for social economy organizations have been set up at the territorial level. And here also the sector support networks have mapped COVID-19 solutions developed by stakeholders. It has as well provided capacity building and acceleration programs to support entrepreneurs and help them scale their solutions across Europe. Online training courses have been offered to member organizations. So I mentioned already the Recovery and Resilience Fund, which has a very strong social component. I think we made sure that precisely in this recovery and resilience process or plan, the social dimension will not be weakened. But it's clear that this is clearly stated that on one hand we have the greening of our economy, because this remains a major priority, and on the other hand we have the social dimension, both being quite linked. It's the whole idea of a just transition is part of this plan, and here I think there are a lot of possibilities for social economy enterprises really to use this funding and to develop themselves and to contribute to an optimal implementation of this plan. Now, I think Patrizia has mentioned also social innovation. This health, economic, and social crisis urgently calls for new and innovative solutions for social policies and services. Social innovation has never been more crucial. I think we have discovered again how important the social coverage, the social protection is in a crisis like this. And here social entrepreneurship can play a key role in social innovation, in creating sustainable solutions to global or local issues. The ESF is a great financial source for pilot projects contributing to a socially innovative environment where social enterprises can flourish. And since 2000, with the Equal Initiative, the ESF has had this important role of incubating forward-looking projects. It will continue to provide vital support to the social economy. The Commission took good note of stakeholders' voices, saying that social innovation needs better financial conditions, more and better assistance for capacity building, mutual learning, and relief from the administrative burden of setting up transnational cooperation projects. The Commission has proposed that the ESF should step up this effort by providing favorable financial conditions for project holders and offering member states a transnational cooperation tool that will assist stakeholders in setting up cooperation projects across the EU. We have insisted a lot on fair working conditions, health and safety, which is a very important issue, especially in this crisis, but also in so-called normal times. I think I mentioned poverty, the increase of poverty, new vulnerable groups hit very much by this crisis. I think the social protection issue and the inclusion of everybody in a scheme of social protection is for us very, very key. But this means also that we have to make sure that social protection materializes. And I think that social economy organizations can therefore contribute greatly to mitigate and recover from this crisis. So a word on the action plan for social economy. I mentioned already that we want to have a very open and very large consultation process. I think one of the characteristics of social economy, the functioning of social economy, is a large participation. It's also the democratic values of social economy. And therefore, I think we can only have a European action plan which at the end changes the environment, enhances the development of social economy, if we really listen to the stakeholders, to the operators, to those who are close to the social economy. Now, we have already heard a certain number of ideas. How can we reinforce the European dimension of what we call globally social economy? Sven has mentioned the European Foundation, the inclusion of civil society, the need for better statistics. Satellite accounts, I was always told, was very important to work. I tried to convince this together. I think the previous commission to work with OECD on that. I think this is an important element to understand how important finally social economy is already today in our economy, in our overall economy, and also what kind of value added social economy brings to our economies. So I think our idea is really to include social economy in the whole picture. It's not to isolate social economy. It's to make sure that social economy is part of the European model of economic and social model. This is important. We are not doing something for social economy being left outside. We want to include social economy because a lot of issues, a lot of problems can be better dealt with by social economy, by social enterprises than by any other kind of enterprises. So this is something which is very, very important to finally give social economy perhaps not necessarily a legal status, but a recognition at the European level. Therefore, we have to work on that. How can we do that? We can do it by very practical steps, by including social economy better in our economic planning, by including social economy also in our social and welfare actions, which are very important. I think, by the way, I had a very good discussion with Parliament on homelessness. Homelessness has become a real European problem. How can we find the right solutions? It's not the Commission which can find the solutions, but we can enhance a movement, how we can better face and how we can better find solutions to the issue of homelessness. And here also social economy entities, NGOs, but also social enterprises can give us the right tool. So these are all the a lot of issues we have to discuss in order to finally elaborate and work out this action plan for social economy. I think we have the right tools. We have also the possibility of new financial means. InvestEU was mentioned, but also now, hopefully, but I know the Parliament is supporting us, the Recovery and Resilience Plan. All these are very strong instruments. And so they can really represent the leverage for the economic and social recovery and help us also not just a recovery, which means that we go back where we were before the crisis, but use the crisis finally to reshape our economic system. I mentioned the greening of our economy, the Green Deal, and at the same time, the just transition issue, the skilling of our people, all this comes together. So I count on you to help us, to assist us, to advise us, and together we will have a very strong action plan.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, for this very interesting speech. Look, we are already more than 400 people showing this huge interest from the social economy. And that social economy is a business model that inspires a lot of Europeans and generates interest. Europeans that many times want to change the economy. So it's very good that the Commission is inviting all of us to co-build this action plan, to co-build a meaningful action plan that can help for the economic and social recovery, and that to build a future that is not a mere extension of the past. Without further delay, I am honored to give the floor to the Spanish Minister for Labor and Social Economy. That's her title, Minister for Labor and Social Economy, who is joining us from the Spanish Senate. So please, Mrs. Yolanda Díaz, the floor is yours.
Gracias, muy buenas tardes. Gracias por su invitación a participar en esta primera audiencia pública del Intergrupo de Economía Social del Parlamento. Aprovecharé, si me permiten, esta oportunidad para exponer en este espacio de diálogo que visibiliza el papel clave de la economía social los motivos por los que creo debemos de trascender de las palabras a la acción en materia de economía social. Como saben, el pasado día 28 de mayo tuve la oportunidad de presidir la reunión del Comité de Seguimiento de la Declaración de Luxemburgo, una reunión que creo fue enormemente fructífera, en la que participaron 16 gobiernos comprometidos con la causa de la economía social, además de las organizaciones que lideran los intereses del sector y las instituciones europeas, así como las organizaciones internacionales que trabajan por la promoción de la economía social. La opinión unánime en la reunión del Comité de Seguimiento fue claro: creemos que es el momento de la economía social y debemos de impulsarla como una estrategia prioritaria en nuestras respectivas agendas y en los planes de acción de las instituciones europeas. Estoy convencida de que para lograr un buen funcionamiento de nuestra economía en los próximos años y tras la pandemia, esta deberá estar fuertemente asentada en las empresas de la economía social. Ese sería el mejor ejemplo de un modelo económico que permite una mayor participación de las personas en la economía, al tiempo que promueve la integración social y laboral de las personas. La economía social, decimos siempre, lleva en su ADN las claves de la recuperación, la solidaridad, la democracia, la sostenibilidad, en que serán pautas esenciales. Han sido innumerables las buenas prácticas desarrolladas por este sector durante la grave crisis sanitaria, social y económica que han vivido nuestros pueblos. Su respuesta para garantizar el abastecimiento alimentario, para mantener los cuidados de los más vulnerables o reconvertir su actividad para producir material sanitario, evidencia que la economía social es parte, como se está diciendo, de la solución para una recuperación sólida, resiliente frente a las nuevas crisis. De aquí que desde nuestro Gobierno consideremos prioritaria la puesta en marcha del Plan de Acción Europeo para la Economía Social. En la pasada reunión del día 28 asumimos el compromiso de hacer llegar a la Comisión un listado exhaustivo que recoja las propuestas de todos los países parte de la Declaración de Luxemburgo para contribuir a un plan que ha de ser ambicioso y transformador en sus planteamientos, pero también en su diseño y, por supuesto, como se ha dicho, en su financiación. En este sentido, resulta fundamental la alineación de las estrategias nacionales con el Plan de Acción Europeo para la Economía Social. Hago referencia nuevamente a la reunión del Comité de Seguimiento de la Declaración de Luxemburgo, pues resultó enormemente gratificante conocer las estrategias nacionales de economía social de la mayoría de los países presentes y el interés por propiciar que las mismas se desarrollen de forma acompasada con el Plan de Acción Europeo como elemento esencial para impulsar la economía social en este instante decisivo para el futuro de la Unión. Con esta finalidad, si me permiten, como presidenta de este comité de seguimiento, pondremos en marcha la articulación de una plataforma que permita la puesta en común de las estrategias nacionales, así como referencie las buenas prácticas de las entidades del sector en los respectivos países, de forma que el aprendizaje mutuo permita la conformación de propuestas creativas y también innovadoras. Simultáneamente, la presidencia española fomentará la extensión de este comité de seguimiento para involucrar en este proyecto al mayor número de estados de las distintas zonas de Europa. A la presencia de los países que actualmente forman parte, será fundamental, como ya se ha dicho, sumar la presencia de la Europa del Este, los países escandinavos, los Balcanes y Europa Central. Generar vínculos estables es vital para dar un impulso renovado a la economía social. Como bien saben, la Estrategia Española para la Economía Social 2017-2020 fue la primera estrategia específica adoptada por un país de la Unión Europea y va a ser nuevamente renovada tras su pertinente evaluación. La nueva estrategia lo será para el periodo 2021-2027, un intervalo temporal que coincidirá con el periodo de programación de los fondos estructurales, una cuestión esencial para su efectiva implementación. En su diseño contaremos con las estrategias locales, regionales y, por supuesto, con la participación del sector. En la base de estas estrategias estarán las lecciones aprendidas durante esta crisis y una nueva mirada que buscará las soluciones allí donde la persona sea la prioridad. La utilización de los fondos estructurales y de inversión europeos, en particular del Fondo Social Europeo, se ha mostrado clave para la financiación de la economía social en España. También para que España haya alcanzado una posición de referencia en Europa y a nivel internacional. La experiencia española con el POISES es excelente, tal y como el presidente de CEPES, el señor Juan Antonio Pedreño, ha expresado en numerosas ocasiones. Como no puede ser de otra manera, España está comprometida con la economía social y con los valores que representa. La economía social española cuenta con una importante presencia socioeconómica, se cifra en torno al 10% del PIB y en unos 2.200.000 puestos de trabajo directos e indirectos, lo que supone alrededor del 12% de nuestro empleo. Además, la economía social ha experimentado un fuerte desarrollo en los últimos años, convirtiéndose, como acabo de indicar, en un referente en el ámbito europeo e internacional. La economía social tiene la máxima consideración de este ministerio, como se ha dicho, no solo la lleva en su denominación, sino que también es una manera de entender el trabajo decente, con derechos y que se refleja con los valores propios de la economía social. De aquí nuestra firme defensa de los intereses del sector, que se manifiesta en una colaboración estable con CEPES, organización intersectorial que cuenta con una representatividad prácticamente unánime de la economía social. Concebimos la economía social como un motor de cambio, un cambio respetuoso con las personas y con el medio ambiente. Esta es la visión que queremos proyectar sobre nuestras actividades durante la presidencia de este año del Comité de Seguimiento de la Declaración de Luxemburgo. Si me permiten, paso a relacionar las actividades que se practicarán durante la presidencia española, que girarán en torno a 6 ejes principales. El primero de ellos, la defensa de la economía social como un pilar fundante de la construcción europea. En línea con las conclusiones del Consejo sobre la promoción de la economía social como motor clave del desarrollo económico y social en Europa, impulsaremos la implantación y desarrollo de medidas y herramientas concretas de promoción de la economía social por parte de los Estados miembros y de las instituciones comunitarias. Como ya he referido, participaremos intensamente en los trabajos de diseño del Plan de Acción Europeo en favor de la economía social, anunciado por el comisario Schmit, así como en promover la utilización intensiva de los distintos fondos, con los fondos estructurales y de inversión europeos a la cabeza y los programas comunitarios. En segundo lugar, como se ha dicho también por parte del comisario, la apuesta por la innovación social, con la que las empresas de la economía social, que ponen en su centro a las personas, plantean soluciones a los retos de una economía globalizada y de un mercado de trabajo cambiante, evitando, como dice nuestro presidente, que nadie quede atrás. En tercer lugar, el impacto en el desarrollo sostenible, el enraizamiento en el territorio en el que se asientan las empresas de economía social las hace menos propensas a la deslocalización. Constituye, por tanto, un factor de fijación de población en las zonas que están sufriendo el fenómeno de la despoblación. En cuarto lugar, la aplicación de una política expansiva de la economía social, haciendo conocer este modelo a un mayor número de personas emprendedoras, en particular, también como se ha dicho, de los jóvenes. Buscamos también la ampliación a otros territorios distintos de la Unión Europea. En este sentido, España quiere aportar los vínculos especiales que mantiene con los países de Iberoamérica. En definitiva, queremos visualizar y difundir el modelo de la economía social como un modelo de futuro que polinice con sus valores al resto de los modelos empresariales, profundizando en la cultura de la responsabilidad social, medioambiental y del buen gobierno. En quinto lugar, el impulso de la medición del impacto de la economía social. Entendemos que el establecimiento de cuentas satélites es una herramienta importante para mostrar la capacidad económica de la economía social, a la que hay que sumar la medición de los impactos sociales y ambientales. Y finalmente, en sexto lugar, el estudio y la potenciación del comportamiento de la economía social durante el año 2020 en el contexto de la crisis sanitaria y sus efectos sociales y económicos. La propia acción de la economía social nos da los argumentos para fortalecer y anclar las políticas de impulso de la economía social en nuestros países. El desarrollo de una plataforma digital que centralice y garantice esa dinamización será un vehículo útil para lograr esa visibilización. El espíritu que da vida a esta agenda y los valores que inspiran la actividad de la economía social en nuestras sociedades se ven plenamente encarnados en los principios de solidaridad y tolerancia que inspiran la ciudad que ostentará la capitalidad europea de la economía social durante este año. Será Toledo, una ciudad innovadora, apegada a los intereses de la ciudadanía y atenta a los de las personas que se acercan a su entorno. Una ciudad que apoya los modelos del negocio y producción sostenibles, que proyecta su imagen desde lo local hacia lo regional y lo internacional. Toledo, la ciudad de las tres culturas, ejemplo de la tolerancia y el diálogo que hoy más que nunca se muestran imprescindibles. Será en esta sede donde pongamos en común y se concreten los objetivos planteados durante nuestra presidencia del Comité de Seguimiento de la Declaración de Luxemburgo. Les invito a participar en esa reunión que esperamos mantener de forma presencial durante el segundo semestre del año 2020. Finalizo ya expresando mi convicción en que la solidez de la economía social va a marcar el camino para retomar la vida de un progreso centrado en las personas como sello de identidad del proyecto europeo. Muchas gracias de nuevo por darme la oportunidad de exponer en esta sede las estrategias y acciones de nuestro Ministerio para impulsar de manera eficaz y decidida la economía social.
Muchas gracias, Ministra Díaz. Thank you very much. I think that Minister Díaz, I didn't say it at the beginning, but indeed she's chairing the high-level group of member states for the social economy, gave us a very comprehensive overview of the program of the Spanish presidency, program of activities for this year, Toledo as European social economy capital in this year, a big event in the second semester of the year, and also an international dimension and opening to the Mediterranean and to Latin America to promote these models in those regions. Thank you very much, Minister. And now we will give the floor to Mrs. Francesca Puglisi, Under Secretary of State for Labor and Social Policy. Thank you, Mrs. Puglisi, for being with us in such an important day for Italy and in a bank holiday, actually. The floor is yours.
Bene, grazie davvero di cuore a tutti voi e soprattutto a Patrizia Toia, Sven Giegold, a tutto all'intergruppo per l'economia sociale per aver voluto organizzare tempestivamente questo webinar che costituisce un'importante occasione di confronto per preparare l'action plan europeo per l'economia sociale annunciato dal nostro commissario Nicolas Schmit, che saluto. In questi mesi di drammatica emergenza il terzo settore e il mondo dell'economia sociale hanno dato un importante contributo per la gestione dell'emergenza sanitaria, sociale ed economica. In Italia il terzo settore, l'economia sociale nel suo complesso, rappresenta una fetta rilevante della ricchezza del Paese, il 5% del PIL italiano. Gli enti no profit attivi nel nostro Paese sono oltre 350.000, impiegano più di 850.000 dipendenti, coinvolgono nelle proprie attività oltre 5 milioni e mezzo di volontari, dando un contributo fondamentale per il benessere e la coesione sociale del nostro Paese, per la crescita armoniosa e l'educazione di bambini e ragazzi, per il contrasto delle disuguaglianze e della povertà, per la tutela dell'ambiente e la promozione sportiva, per l'invecchiamento attivo e il sostegno della terza età e dei grandi anziani, tema questo reso di drammatica attualità nella pandemia. con un altissimo prezzo di vite umane, che deve spingerci a rivedere anche le politiche per la piena inclusione delle persone con disabilità e le persone della terza età. Come evidenzia il nostro istituto di statistica, il settore no profit continua ad espandersi con tassi di crescita medi annui superiori a quelli che si rilevano per le imprese orientate al mercato, in termini sia di numero di associazioni e imprese sociali, sia di numero di persone che vengono coinvolte in termini di lavoro o volontariato. Nella scorsa legislatura il governo italiano ha promosso la riforma del terzo settore, che ha introdotto all'interno dell'ordinamento giuridico italiano la categoria di ente del terzo settore quale ente privato che senza scopo di lucro persegue finalità civiche, solidaristiche e di utilità sociale e di interesse generale, in forma di azione volontaria o di erogazione gratuita di denaro, beni o servizi, o di mutualità o di produzione o scambio di beni o servizi. Il legislatore ha creato pertanto una categoria normativa, gli enti del terzo settore, per i quali abbiamo dettato una disciplina che dà sì benefici ma anche appunto riconosce doveri ed obblighi del mondo dell'economia sociale. E abbiamo voluto innanzitutto valorizzare la funzione che all'economia sociale attribuisce la nostra Costituzione che proprio oggi nella giornata della festa della Repubblica noi celebriamo. Durante la pandemia e la fase del lockdown, il terzo settore ha svolto un ruolo determinante per la tenuta sociale del nostro Paese. Per questo il governo da subito ha messo in campo attraverso il decreto Cura Italia e il recente decreto Rilancio Italia una serie di interventi mirati a sostenerne le attività. Lo dico subito a tutti, in questa fase di crisi sanitaria che oggi stiamo felicemente superando e di crisi economica e sociale che senza l'intervento tempestivo dell'Europa rischia di diventare una drammatica crisi economica che rischia di infiammare l'autunno e il 2021, nulla, dico nulla, è mai abbastanza. Siamo partiti dalla consapevolezza che l'emergenza epidemiologica ha trovato una risposta impressionante per lo sforzo profuso dalle tantissime organizzazioni di terzo settore e il loro esercito di volontari, principalmente impegnati nel settore sociosanitario e nella protezione civile. Ma il ruolo delle organizzazioni del terzo settore è altrettanto importante nella fase post-emergenziale. Rappresentano infatti un enorme patrimonio di persone, impegno civico, senso di responsabilità, pronti a collaborare con le istituzioni pubbliche a partire dal livello locale nell'impegnativa fase di ricostruzione che attende il Paese. Muovendo da tale consapevolezza, il Ministero del Lavoro e delle Politiche Sociali ha voluto fortemente che i provvedimenti dessero uno spazio rilevante al terzo settore per il quale è stato previsto un sostegno simile a quello previsto per le imprese. Con il decreto Cura Italia sono state date le prime risposte con l'estensione dell'accesso agli ammortizzatori sociali anche per gli enti di terzo settore, per tutto l'associazionismo, la sospensione dei versamenti delle ritenute, dei contributi previdenziali e assistenziali e dei premi per l'assicurazione obbligatoria. Con il decreto rilancio, oltre alla proroga generale degli ammortizzatori sociali, anche quindi per i lavoratori dell'economia sociale, e abbiamo, lo dico a tutti ringraziando, abbiamo urgente bisogno delle risorse del programma SURE per poter assicurare dalla disoccupazione, ma soprattutto per investire sul reskilling delle persone, la loro ricollocazione, qualora cittadini perdano il lavoro, abbiamo bisogno del sostegno del programma anche per tutto il 2021. Abbiamo previsto diverse misure accomunate dall'estensione agli enti non commerciali compresi quindi gli enti di terzo settore, riconoscimenti anche di tipo fiscale con il credito d'imposta per l'adeguamento degli ambienti di lavoro, per la sanificazione, per pagare i canoni degli uffici. Quindi abbiamo fatto interventi che non lasciassero davvero nessuno indietro in questo momento così complicato e drammatico per l'economia non solo italiana ma globale. Altrettanto importante l'intervento diretto a sostenere le attività di interesse generale degli enti di terzo settore e dell'economia sociale volte a fronteggiare le emergenze sociali ed assistenziali, dove abbiamo stanziato ulteriori 100 milioni di euro per il 2020 e a questi si aggiungono altri 120 milioni di euro messi a disposizione dall'Agenzia per la coesione territoriale per quegli enti di terzo settore che operano nel Mezzogiorno d'Italia e sono finanziamenti a fondo perduto. Sempre nel decreto rilancio Italia abbiamo previsto un'iniezione di liquidità attraverso l'anticipazione dei fondi del 5 per 1000 e questo perché nella pandemia, nel lockdown generale, nessuna associazione ha potuto per esempio mettere in campo le proprie attività di autofinanziamento e di fundraising. L'Europa deve essere uno spazio inclusivo, aperto, equo, in cui donne e uomini possano davvero essere sostenuti nella realizzazione delle proprie potenzialità. Per questo riteniamo essenziale quanto declinato nel pilastro sociale europeo, la lotta alle disuguaglianze in tutti gli ambiti, dentro e fuori i perimetri nazionali e continentali, il rispetto e la promozione dei diritti umani, lo sviluppo sostenibile, il sostegno e la promozione degli spazi di partecipazione della società civile, tutte cose che ci ricordava nel suo intervento prima il commissario Schmit. Per questo voglio offrire in conclusione del mio intervento alcuni spunti su cui crediamo che l'Action Plan debba innanzitutto valorizzare. Rafforzare la dimensione sociale dell'Unione Europea, valorizzando l'economia sociale di tutti i soggetti del terzo settore. Occorre un pieno riconoscimento del terzo settore a livello europeo, nella consapevolezza che il welfare è motore di sviluppo e dunque serve una normativa che riconosca pienamente il principio di sussidiarietà, come abbiamo fatto anche in Italia. Occorre dare strumenti fiscali di incentivazione verso i soggetti del terzo settore che appunto sostengano e aiutino lo sviluppo di questo fondamentale volano di sviluppo e di coesione della nostra Europa. E ancora, io credo che debba essere potenziato il ruolo dell'economia sociale nella nuova programmazione 2020-2027, perché tutti davvero possano costruire una vera cittadinanza europea, soprattutto per i giovani, e dunque serve ancora un investimento in Erasmus+, in quei fondi che siano destinati alla formazione dei cittadini per far crescere la consapevolezza di essere in uno straordinario continente che è stato fondato sul principio di solidarietà. E ancora, chiudo dicendo e rivolgendo a tutti noi il comune intento. Siamo in una fase davvero complessa, una delle fasi più difficili nella storia contemporanea. Per questo crediamo che investire nell'economia sociale sia una occasione non più rinviabile e dunque in tutti gli strumenti che la Commissione metterà in campo l'economia sociale deve davvero svolgere un ruolo determinante ed ottenere un pieno riconoscimento. Quindi grazie davvero di cuore a tutto ciò che sapremo costruire assieme.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Puglisi, also for these words of the importance of the coordination between EU policy and national policy, and how in these complicated moments, EU support and coordination between the two levels is fundamental to overcome the crisis. Thanks for that. And I will give the floor to the President of Social Economy Europe, Juan Antonio Pedreño, who will present the views from the sector and the big demands from the sector for this European Action Plan. Juan Antonio, la palabra es tuya.
Buenas tardes. Es un honor compartir este evento con una audiencia tan importante, tan significativa, de más de 400 personas de toda la Unión Europea, que demuestran con su compromiso el interés que hoy despierta todo lo que rodea a la economía social. Gracias por estar aquí. Tendremos que estar hoy y siempre que haga falta seguir con esta contribución de esfuerzo, participando en esta iniciativa con la que pretendemos seguir movilizando, fomentando y visibilizando la capacidad de la economía social para contribuir a la recuperación económica y social y también al futuro de Europa. Y como decía el comisario Schmit, reduciendo el déficit de percepción que se tiene hacia la economía social. Un futuro del que queremos ser parte activa para que éste sea mejor, más justo, más democrático, equitativo, innovador y solidario, muy en línea con los valores y características de la economía social. Gracias también a las personalidades que hoy nos acompañan y que han hecho posible este evento. El comisario Schmit, ya como se ha señalado, un histórico, un compañero de viaje de hace muchos años, muy activo defensor de la economía social. A la ministra de Trabajo y Economía Social del Gobierno de España, Yolanda Díaz, gracias por tu compromiso. A la vicesecretaria de Estado, Francesca Puglisi, a los copresidentes del Intergrupo de Economía Social y a los representantes de las regiones y de las organizaciones de la economía social. Quiero en especial agradecer el trabajo de Patrizia Toia y de Sven Giegold y de sus equipos que junto con Social Economy han podido organizar este encuentro que yo creo que va a ser la simiente para un futuro esperanzador de la economía social. Gracias además a todos por vuestras excelentes intervenciones de reconocimiento del papel que juega y desde luego va a jugar en el futuro la economía social. Nos encontramos en este momento en unas circunstancias muy complicadas, económicas, sociales, sanitarias, de salud, pero hoy todos los europeos y el resto de ciudadanos del mundo tenemos la oportunidad de dar lo mejor de nosotros mismos para superar esta crisis y luchar por nuestro futuro. Un futuro que debe ser siempre mejor, orientado a buscar soluciones a los desafíos de nuestras sociedades, como la desigualdad, el cambio climático, la exclusión o la necesidad de modernizar nuestras economías manteniendo unas buenas condiciones laborales y los mejores sistemas de bienestar. En estos días las instituciones europeas han demostrado que este es el momento de Europa. Es el momento de desarrollar e implementar una hoja de ruta ambiciosa para que todos avancemos y, como decía la ministra de España, nadie se quede atrás. Desde Social Economy valoramos muy positivamente el trabajo del Parlamento Europeo y la propuesta de la Comisión Europea de un plan de recuperación Next Generation Europe a la altura de las necesidades y las demandas de los ciudadanos de Europa, además con importantes menciones al potencial de la economía social para el emprendimiento y la creación de empleo para todos, especialmente para los más vulnerables. Este es el momento de Europa y también debe ser el momento de la economía social, como la propia Comisión Europea ha demostrado con el anuncio de un plan de acción europeo para la economía social, cuyo diseño coordinará el comisario Schmit en línea con el encargo de la presidenta von der Leyen. Como decía Sven Giegold, y esta es la propuesta, queremos un plan de acción europeo para la economía social. Un plan de acción que debe servir para profundizar y dotar de mayor coherencia y transversalidad a las políticas europeas de fomento de la economía social y también para que la economía social, que como saben ustedes representa a 2,8 millones de empresas y entidades y a casi 14 millones de trabajadores, significando el 8% del Producto Interior Bruto de la Unión, forme parte y pueda contribuir a las principales políticas económicas, sociales y ambientales de la Unión Europea. Y sobre todo tiene que ser un papel fundamental, como decía Francesca hace un momento, en este periodo 2027. Un plan que, como ya hemos comentado en otras ocasiones, viene solicitando desde hace mucho tiempo Social Economy, en colaboración con el Intergrupo, con el Comité de Monitoreo, con el Comisario Schmit, con el Comité Económico y Social Europeo y con otras instituciones. Incluso en 2018 presentamos al Intergrupo y a la Comisión un plan de propuesta consensuado. Pero hoy la pandemia y la crisis han cambiado tanto la realidad como las necesidades y también han acelerado la demanda ciudadana de una economía al servicio de las personas y del planeta. Y en este sentido nuestras propuestas tienen que evolucionar también. Queremos desde Social Economy promover la economía social en Europa como palanca para la reindustrialización y el fortalecimiento del tejido económico de las regiones de Europa. El fomento del emprendimiento colectivo como motor para la reindustrialización de Europa es fundamental. ¿Y quién tiene que hacer esto? Lo tienen que hacer nuestros jóvenes. Apostemos por nuestro capital humano, acompañemos y animemos a los más jóvenes a desarrollar proyectos estratégicos emprendiendo de forma colectiva, que es una forma mucho más resiliente que el emprendimiento individual. Europa tiene un excelente capital humano. Fomentemos el emprendimiento y acompañemos a los emprendedores colectivos en toda Europa a través además de marcos jurídicos, institucionales y financieros adecuados. En Europa, las startups, que serán las grandes empresas del futuro, son cooperativas. Como muchos de ustedes saben, en estos momentos se está produciendo además un torrente de innovación colectiva favorecido en este caso por el alineamiento de muchos jóvenes con los valores de la economía social. Esto es un desafío, esto es un reto para nosotros. Debemos fomentar este torrente de innovación y mejorar su visibilidad. Del mismo modo, también debemos favorecer una mayor utilización de instrumentos como la transferencia de empresas a los trabajadores para salvar empresas y puestos de trabajo en toda Europa, como ocurrió en la anterior crisis, y más aún en un contexto como el actual en el que estamos asistiendo al cierre de plantas industriales estratégicas para Europa y para los países en los que operan. Son muchos los ejemplos que hemos tenido la suerte de compartir en este caso y ver cómo se salvan empresas, se salvan puestos de trabajo, se salvan proyectos con un nivel de éxito alto en su supervivencia. Las transferencias de empresas a los trabajadores, razonablemente común en España, en Italia o en Francia, aunque en ellos queda camino legislativo por recorrer, no existe en la mayoría de los países de Europa. Y esto deja un espacio importante a la Unión Europea para promover esta práctica, que además puede ir acompañada de otros instrumentos positivos como la capitalización de las prestaciones por desempleo para iniciar proyectos de emprendimiento colectivo. Y en este punto quiero recordar dos virtudes fundamentales del emprendimiento colectivo, de las empresas de la economía social. Son empresas resilientes, lo señalaba el comisario Schmit en su intervención, y son empresas que nunca se deslocalizan, están al servicio de las personas que las componen y de las comunidades en las que operan, y dan soluciones al reto demográfico, como señalaba también la ministra Yolanda Díaz. En este sentido, valoramos muy positivamente la mención a la economía social en la última comunicación de la Comisión sobre el semestre europeo 2020, publicada hace apenas 15 días, en la que se recomienda a los Estados miembros a alentar cambios estructurales mediante medidas para promover formas innovadoras de trabajo y emprendimiento como la economía social. Nuestra segunda propuesta es que se tiene que identificar a la economía social como vector de una economía verde. La economía social es uno de los principales motores para la transición ecológica de Europa. Las más de 1.500 cooperativas de energías renovables representadas por RESCOP en Europa y que agrupan a más de 10.000 ciudadanos son un excelente ejemplo. Y es una tendencia imparable que responde a la demanda de los ciudadanos de una energía más limpia y al servicio de los intereses de las comunidades locales. Otro excelente ejemplo son las empresas de inserción muy activas en la economía circular, representadas hoy aquí por el presidente de RREUSE, Matthias Neitsch, un ejemplo impresionante de cómo conjugar inserción sociolaboral de personas vulnerables, desfavorecidas o simplemente apartadas del mercado laboral, con una actividad fundamental para la reutilización, reparación y reciclaje de productos textiles, muebles o electrónicos, dando una segunda vida. Un movimiento en auge por el que quiero felicitar a RREUSE y a sus socios, con gran potencial para seguir creciendo en el conjunto de Europa. Las empresas y las entidades de la economía social también juegan un papel clave en la construcción y renovación de la vivienda accesible para todos, en la agricultura sostenible y, por supuesto, en la distribución de alimentos y circuitos cortos, sin olvidarnos de la movilidad sostenible, un ámbito en el que no cesan de surgir proyectos cooperativos o asociativos como la recuperación de líneas ferroviarias. En tercer lugar, señalar que la economía social es una aliada para fomentar nuestros estados del bienestar, la participación de los ciudadanos y la inclusión de todas y de todos. No cabe duda que esta crisis ha dejado al descubierto algunas grietas en nuestro sistema del bienestar, en nuestros sistemas de salud y de protección social. Desde la economía social no dejaremos de reivindicarnos como aliados naturales de las administraciones públicas para extender y universalizar la protección social, el acceso a los servicios sociales básicos de calidad, como la salud, la educación, la dependencia o los cuidados. Las mutuas de salud, representadas por AIM, son otro magnífico ejemplo en este sentido. En cuarto lugar, es necesario fomentar e impulsar la digitalización de las empresas y las entidades de la economía social. No hay ninguna duda de que el futuro es digital. Esta crisis nos lo ha anticipado además, pero también nos ha dicho que debe ser un crecimiento justo, inclusivo, democrático y con empleos de calidad. La economía social ya está aportando soluciones a los desafíos a los que se enfrentan los trabajadores atípicos en las industrias culturales y en la economía de plataforma. Tanto desde la economía social como desde las instituciones europeas debemos apostar por startups de economía social que rompan los oligopolios existentes y aseguren condiciones laborales justas en el ámbito de la economía de plataforma. Y para financiar toda esta transición hace falta hacer una economía al servicio de las personas, y para movilizar, por qué no decirlo, todo el potencial de la economía social necesitamos fondos e inversiones. Necesitamos movilizar instrumentos financieros, el InvestEU o el Fondo para una Transición Justa, medidas de capacitación, mecanismos de apoyo para apoyar a las empresas y entidades de la economía social para acceder a estos instrumentos, regulación de los mercados, utilización del Fondo Social Europeo, del FSE Plus, fundamentalmente, que ha sido fundamental en el programa operativo, como señalaba la ministra Yolanda Díaz, para España. Necesitamos un marco institucional adecuado y para ello es fundamental facilitar la participación de los 2,8 millones de empresas y entidades de la economía social en el diálogo intersectorial en Europa y también en el conjunto de los Estados miembros. Tenemos que seguir promoviendo y movilizando todo el potencial de la contratación pública socialmente responsable, favoreciendo el acceso en igualdad de oportunidades de todas las empresas a la contratación pública y premiando a aquellas más comprometidas con el empleo de calidad, el desarrollo, la inclusión social, la igualdad y la sostenibilidad. Y para que todo esto se lleve a efecto es fundamental que toda Europa se lo crea, que las instituciones se lo crean, trabajen por ello. Europa tiene que actuar como líder global en economía social y promover este modelo empresarial como vector de desarrollo sostenible en el mundo. Europa debe, a través de su agenda global, asegurar la estabilidad, la cohesión y el desarrollo sostenible, especialmente en los países de nuestra vecindad, sur y este, pero también en regiones como América Latina, África o Asia. En definitiva, el futuro de Europa está en nuestras manos. Vivimos tiempos difíciles y al mismo tiempo de grandes oportunidades. Frente a modelos que perpetúan las desigualdades o limitan las libertades, Europa se posiciona cada día más como un líder global, firmemente comprometido con la Agenda 2030, con el progreso económico y social de sus pueblos y con el codesarrollo a nivel global. Este es el momento de Europa, pero también este es el momento de la economía social. Y sabes, comisario, que puedes contar con nosotros y con todo nuestro apoyo. Nosotros queremos el tuyo, que también sé que lo tenemos. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much, President, for these very concrete proposals for the European Action Plan for the social economy and to recover from this crisis. Thank you also to all the panelists in this roundtable. You have had great interventions, and now it's time to give the role to the next roundtable. So I will ask Miguel Motas Guzman, Bernard Clerfay, Barbara Traert, and Shivan Fate to activate your cameras because now it's up to you for your presentations. I see some of you already. Thank you, by the way, to all the panelists in the last roundtable. So as I don't see the Murcia's minister, yeah, Murcia's minister is with us. So I will give the floor to Mr. Miguel Motas Guzmán, Minister for Jobs, Research and Universities of the region of Murcia. Before giving you the floor, Miguel, maybe one explanation to all participants. We are 378 participants now. We have received quite a lot of questions, but we are also a bit late. So we are saving your questions, and we will send these questions to the speakers later on, or maybe ask them at the end of the event. But we are a bit late, and we really want to advance. Miguel Motas, Regional Minister, the floor is yours, and I will share your presentation. Just a second, because I think that we don't hear you. Let me see what's happening. Minister, can you try to talk? Say hello to us. We don't hear you. Sorry.
Sí, hola.
Now, ahora te escuchamos. Muchas gracias, Miguel. Pasamos a tu presentación.
Good afternoon. Buenas tardes a todos. En primer lugar, quisiera expresar mi más sincero agradecimiento al Social Economy Intergroup por la oportunidad que me brinda de poder explicar en este foro qué supone la economía social en nuestra tierra, la región de Murcia. Para ello, permítanme ofrecerles algunos datos que les permitirán comprender mejor el peso con el que cuenta la economía social en esta zona del levante de España. La comunidad autónoma de la región de Murcia ocupa un pequeño espacio del sureste de la península ibérica, al borde del Mediterráneo. De las 17 comunidades autónomas en las que se divide el territorio nacional, la región de Murcia es la 9ª por extensión, la 10ª por población y la 13ª en PIB per cápita. Actualmente contamos con una tasa de paro del 16,5%, ocupando el puesto número 12 de las comunidades con mayor desempleo. Pues bien, con estas cifras entiendan la satisfacción que es para mí, como consejero de empleo de la región de Murcia, que sea esta tierra la que se sitúa en el 5º puesto en términos absolutos entre todas las comunidades autónomas que más empresas y más empleo ocupan en la economía social del país. Es más, en términos relativos les diré que la región es la que más cooperativas tiene por número de habitantes. Además, Murcia ha sido la primera región española en ser nombrada Región Europea de la Economía Social. Posteriormente nos seguirían Navarra, Baleares, Andalucía, Galicia y recientemente Extremadura. Intentaré explicar brevemente los motivos por los que, a mi entender, tenemos en Murcia esta fuerte presencia de empresas de economía social. En primer lugar, el compromiso inequívoco que existe por parte del Gobierno regional con este modelo de empresas que ha sido reafirmado año tras año, impulsando y fomentando la creación de empresas. Somos conscientes de que éstas generan un empleo más estable y de mayor calidad, comparado con otros modelos empresariales. En cuanto a su compromiso con las personas, generando una sociedad inclusiva, favoreciendo la igualdad entre hombres y mujeres y siendo el mejor aliado del desarrollo local. Además, cuando todavía no hemos salido de la crisis sanitaria que nos acecha, Europa ya se enfrenta al reto de la recuperación económica que este periodo de pandemia está suponiendo. Es un hecho, por la experiencia ya vivida en la anterior crisis económica, sufrida por nuestro país entre 2008 y 2014, que el empleo de la economía social se redujo menos de lo que lo hizo el empleo medio en nuestro país. Las empresas de economía social han demostrado soportar mejor que otras los efectos de la adversidad y estoy seguro de que su comportamiento en estos momentos será también positivo, lo que justifica todos los esfuerzos que desde la Administración regional se están realizando en apoyo de la economía social. Durante la última década se han firmado 4 pactos entre las organizaciones representativas del sector y el Gobierno regional. Unos pactos que han supuesto, cada uno de ellos, el instrumento del gobierno regional para potenciar e impulsar a medio plazo la economía social en la región de Murcia, recogiendo medidas dirigidas a crear un empleo de calidad y consolidar el existente, a mejorar la competitividad y la innovación en este ámbito, a ayudar a la creación de empresas y a su financiación y a prestigiar este modelo económico en la región. Han sido herramientas de colaboración, consenso y participación de todos aquellos que tienen algo que aportar a la economía social regional, es decir, diferentes departamentos de la administración pública y las distintas organizaciones representativas, con el fin de ayudar a convertir este modelo económico en un potente motor de empleo de calidad y cohesión social en nuestra región. Esta coordinación e integración de todas las medidas en un único documento facilita la eficacia de las acciones que se llevan a cabo y el uso más eficiente de los recursos disponibles. De hecho, son numerosas las medidas que los diferentes departamentos del Gobierno regional llevan a cabo y a las que pueden acogerse estas empresas. Desde la Consejería de Empleo promovemos y fomentamos la economía social mediante ayudas directas para la incorporación de socios trabajadores que varían en función de colectivos prioritarios, así como ayudas a la capitalización de las sociedades y a la inversión en activos fijos. Asimismo, a través de las organizaciones que las representan, incentivamos la asistencia técnica para la constitución de las empresas, la difusión y fomento de la economía social, así como el apoyo a las estructuras de las organizaciones para que puedan cumplir con sus fines estatutarios. Todo ello es fruto del consenso social que parte de acuerdos o pactos con el sector, unos acuerdos que llevan un compromiso presupuestario que permite planificar las acciones en un horizonte de al menos 3 años. Me enorgullece poder decir que el Pacto para la Excelencia de la Economía Social de la región de Murcia 2018-2020 ha cubierto sobradamente con un año de antelación los objetivos marcados de creación de 250 nuevas empresas. De hecho, en los 2 primeros años ya se habían creado más de 360 empresas. Este mismo mes vamos a iniciar la elaboración de un nuevo acuerdo 2021-2023 que recogerá, entre otras medidas, aquellas que deberán llevarse a cabo para el mantenimiento del empleo como consecuencia de la COVID-19, siendo nuevamente un trabajo apoyado en el diálogo social entre la Administración regional y las organizaciones que representan a la economía social. El segundo de los motivos que nos posiciona como una de las regiones españolas y europeas con mayor presencia de la economía social es el ecosistema creado en torno a este modelo de gestión, en la que participan no solo la Administración regional y las organizaciones empresariales, sino también la Administración local y la educación, además de otros agentes que intervienen en la constitución de empresas. Pero permítanme que me centre un momento en la labor tan importante que está realizando el movimiento cooperativista de la enseñanza en la región de Murcia, porque es un ejemplo de buenas prácticas que siembra el futuro de este tipo de empresas. En la región de Murcia, el porcentaje de cooperativas de enseñanza es el 50% del total de la enseñanza concertada, lo que permite en sus aulas acoger a cerca de 40.000 alumnos. Desde hace años, estos centros imparten conocimientos sobre los principios y valores de la economía social, facilitando la creación y constitución de cooperativas escolares y con ello el conocimiento práctico de la realidad de la economía social dentro de las prácticas escolares e incluso exponen sus productos al público en una feria anual de cooperativas escolares. Esta práctica, continuada en el tiempo, ha hecho posible extender su conocimiento y convertirlo en un modelo de gestión respetado y valorado por toda la región, lo que a su vez ha permitido que en todos los municipios de la provincia se constituyan empresas de economía social porque se reconoce como un modelo de éxito que, como ya he mencionado, permite crear empleo estable y de calidad, reducir las desigualdades y, gracias a su fuerte presencia en todo el territorio, contribuir a un menor abandono de la población, lo que la convierte en un instrumento eficaz para la lucha de la despoblación que sufren nuestros pueblos. El tercero de los motivos que llevan al éxito de la economía social en la región de Murcia es, sin lugar a dudas, el asociacionismo y el propio liderazgo de las organizaciones empresariales. No puedo ni quiero finalizar mi intervención sin reconocer como elemento fundamental del éxito de este modelo empresarial un asociacionismo fuerte, comprometido y unido, sin que los intereses legítimos de cada una de las organizaciones entorpezcan el interés común, que no es otro que el fomento de la economía social. Organizaciones empresariales representativas del cooperativismo, sociedades laborales, organizaciones representativas de sectores tan importantes como la educación o como el agrario, tan significativo y con tanto peso en nuestra región, han marcado el camino del crecimiento. Y como resultado de estos tres elementos principales que acabo de exponer, la implicación de la administración regional, la existencia de un ecosistema propio en el que intervienen otros agentes, pero con un peso importante del sistema educativo a través de las cooperativas de enseñanza, y el asociacionismo y liderazgo de las organizaciones empresariales, en la actualidad la región de Murcia cuenta con más de 2.000 empresas de economía social que dan empleo a más de 26.000 trabajadores. Además, en 2019 se registraron 184 empresas de este sector, de las que 151 eran cooperativas de trabajo social. Datos que por sí solos son motivo de satisfacción, pero que detrás de ello hay actividad, empleo, desarrollo local y estabilidad. Hay muchas razones por las que merece la pena apostar por este modelo de gestión y por el desarrollo y fomento de la economía social. Sin más, quiero volver a agradecer la oportunidad que se me ha brindado de poder participar en esta sesión y a todos ustedes el tiempo y atención que me han prestado. Ojalá que la próxima vez podamos celebrar este encuentro de forma presencial y, si me permiten la sugerencia, que sea aquí en la región de Murcia. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Just a couple of information. The Spanish Minister, Mrs. Yolanda Díaz, has to leave us because she has another commitment. So, Mrs. Díaz, if you want, I can give you the floor to say goodbye to the over 300 people that are with us.
Muchas gracias. Lamento muchísimo tener que retirarme, pero tengo una sesión de control justamente en la cámara en la que me encuentro y, desde luego, lo que sí que me gustaría que, si hubiese preguntas, nos las formulen, como se ha dicho finalmente, con carácter escrito y, por supuesto, trabajaremos sobre las mismas. Muchas gracias y buen debate.
Thank you very much, Minister, and have a good day. Thank you also, Miguel Motas, for your excellent presentation of the social economy ecosystem in the region of Murcia. With no further delay, I will give the floor to the Regional Minister for Employment of Brussels Region, Mr. Bernard Clerfay. Donc, Monsieur Clerfay, en principe, nous devons parler en anglais. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you for giving me the floor. I thank you for your invitation. I will speak to you about the situation in the Brussels area. Later, my colleague, Barbara Tracht, which is Deputy Minister for Economic Transition, will further develop what we do here in Brussels. We are in a crisis, and the crisis shakes the foundation of our economy. And the crisis period is always a vital moment to rethink, modernize, and improve some of the paradigms on which our economy and therefore employment is based. In the Brussels capital region, social and democratic enterprises have traditionally played an important role in the productive fabric of the region, and also in integration missions that they undertake on a daily basis for the most vulnerable groups on the employment markets. In Brussels, we voted last year an innovative regulatory framework that now fully recognizes the social economy and intrinsic missions entrusted to these enterprises as a fully fledged economic sector. This new regulatory framework voted last year will start functioning from January the 1st next year. So this year is a transition period from the old system to the new system. But this new regulatory framework recognizes fully these enterprises, as I said, as a fully fledged economic sector. And this recognition is based on the European EMIS criteria. So the 4 criteria: implementation of an economic project, pursuit of a social aim, exercising a democratic governance, and finally, a moderate wage ratio. So the Brussels government fully supports the professionalization of the social economy sector in its mission to bring about the socio-professional integration of job seekers furthest away from the labor market. This involves granting a mandate and funding for the implementation of a job integration program recognized as a service of general economic interest. So the subsidies for job creation in this sector can go up to 33,000 euro a year for the 2 first years and 10,000 euros for the next 3 years. So for a 5-year period, you have a strong support to create jobs in these sectors. Social and democratic enterprises embody values that make it possible to meet the needs of a city and region like Brussels. The Brussels capital region, like many other European cities, faces significant socio-economic disparities. High unemployment. The unemployment rate was 16% just before the crisis, so approximate the same as in Murcia. We now increasing poverty. About a quarter of the inhabitants of the regions are at risk of poverty. And in underprivileged social groups confined to poor districts, those same problems as we share in many cities in Europe. And economic growth, even when it creates jobs, can prove detrimental to the cohesion of urban areas. And the social impacts of the COVID-19 crisis risk accentuating the paradox of big cities, which produce both wealth and poverty, both integration and exclusion. Social economic activities play a key role on the employment markets. In a recent booklet by an observatory on the situational analysis of the social economy for the last years, 2017-2018, highlights the importance of the social economy for employment. In southern Belgium, so Wallonia and Brussels together, social economic enterprises accounted for 12% of employment. And they account also for 20% of net job creation in Belgium. It means that they are very important on the job market. And about more than 2/3 of these jobs are held by women. More than 1/5 of these jobs are held by aged workers above 55 years old. In the last 5 years, the total number of social economy jobs has risen by almost 9%, while the mainstream economy has seen an increase by only 2%. So in the future, with the expected social crisis, these social enterprises must be supported and integrated into the European economic fabric. We do not aim to replace or crowd out the mainstream economic sector, but in the way of developing an inclusive growth, we need to sustain the social economy enterprises to support job creation for specific publics. 95% of social enterprises in Brussels are associations that operate in many sectors of activity, primarily in the sector of human health and social action, which has been under strain the last weeks, in the other service activities, and in the sector education and training. In the sector wholesale and retail, the cooperative companies, meanwhile, give rise to most of the job creation. So the Brussels government has taken robust measures to support enterprises and entrepreneurs in Brussels impacted by this lockdown period of Corona, providing access to economic aids and sectorial support measures for social enterprises, focusing on integration in order to strengthen their capacity for resilience. By supporting the social economy, we create locally attached added value. And by creating local added value, we will create jobs that cannot be relocated. Europe thus acknowledge the real value of the social economy. This also involves recognizing social enterprises as fully fledged enterprises. We thus have to capitalize on the missions undertaken by these social enterprises to promote the lasting integration of all workers, especially the categories most discriminated against. We have to stimulate youth employment in social enterprises, but above all, we have to capitalize on their capacity to adapt and their resilience in the face of the hazards that humanity may be called upon to go through. Europe must make a strong gesture now by committing to social enterprises as they aim for greater professionalization in their work to achieve lasting integration for everyone, moving towards increased level of autonomy. I thus strongly believe that the European Supportive Social Economy Action Plan is of foremost importance to help us in the recovery to come. And it should thus be part of the recovery plan Next Generation EU. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Brussels region is a leading European region, and of course, the importance of the social economy there, it is important also to inspire many other regions of Europe. Continuing with Brussels, now the floor is to State Secretary, Mrs. Barbara Tracht. So please, Mrs. Tracht, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
We do. We hear you very well.
Great. So I'm delighted to be with you today to discuss, at least virtually, the role of the social economy and in restructuring our region. And I would like to thank the entire Social Economy Intergroup team of the Parliament and Social Economy Europe, which has been working to allow us to exchange views in these difficult times. This crisis we are going through has cruelly highlighted the fragility of our economic system and its inability to anticipate and cope with shocks. We need to relocate the production of the goods we consume in order to create shorter value chains and build an economy that is more resilient to economic shocks. So the Brussels government, as Bernard Clafay said, is aware of the role of the social economy in creating the world of tomorrow and has adopted strong measures to support it through this crisis. And in addition to grants for social enterprises, we have been keen to support entrepreneurs who have chosen to operate using an innovative model within an employment cooperative such as SMART. Employment cooperatives are social economy organizations that enable entrepreneurs to undertake business in a secure and supportive environment by pooling together their taxes and social charges. To ensure that the entrepreneur in these cooperatives can stay the course and recover after the crisis, we have made 2 million euros available for loans of up to 25,000 euros per entrepreneur at a rate of 1%. In addition to urgent crisis measures, we also need to think about the future and learn from current problems. Many studies have shown that the real law of the jungle is not competition, the survival of the fittest as championed by the current economic model, but rather the spirit of cooperation and mutual assistance. It has thus been proven that the greatest evolutions in our society come from creativity and of groups working hand in hand. It is therefore an economy that is solidarity-based, but also locally anchored and innovative that we need to set up by creating synergies between three actors: public authorities, businesses, and citizen consumers. And this collaboration is essential. Change will not come from one of these players, but from a combination of each one of them, creating a sustainable transformation. Initiatives by citizens and social economy entrepreneurs are already flourishing. It is up to us as European, national, or regional political decision makers to lay down the guidelines so that these initiatives can develop and spread. It is in this context that here in the Brussels region, we are going to adopt a strategy of supporting social and democratic enterprises to capitalize on existing pioneering enterprises and help them to extend. But we must work hand in hand with all companies so that they become more accessible and set an example in social and environmental terms. Otherwise, we will not change the dominant economic model and we will not ensure the survival of humanity. With a view to relocating our production system, we, together with other cities such as Paris, Lille or Milano, have signed a declaration calling for local, carbon-free, circular and human industry. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite regions that wish to anchor their productive capacities in their territories and commit themselves to social and environmental responsibility to sign this declaration. The role of the European Union is fundamental in ensuring a shift in the economy towards a more unified and resilient world. This must moreover be the primary objective of the Union's economic and social recovery plan in order to ensure a future for European citizens. To do this, the EU must, of course, have an ambitious budget and mutualize state debts because we must build this post-COVID world together. As I said at the beginning, the greatest progress comes from the creativity of groups working together, and it is up to us to ensure the local restructuring of our economy so that we can create a resilient and supportive societies whose relations are no longer based on what I can take from you so that I can have more, but on what we can create together to build better lives for everyone. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, State Secretary, also for bringing to the table these very interesting questions of atypical workers, access to social protection, non-standard ways of working, and how the social economy is giving responses to that, but also to build an economy that works for people and the planet, in line also with the objectives of the European Commission. So thank you very much for this great experience from Brussels region. And now, we move to the east because we will give the floor to Jeanne Brétecher, Deputy Director of the Regional Center for Social Policy of the Marshal's Office of the West Pomerania region in Poland. So Jeanne, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. First, I want to share my presentation. You know, if you have my presentation.
Yes, we see your presentation very well.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you so much for inviting me to this event. Also, Mr. Paweł Klimek is also with me. He is a member of the Regional Committee of Social Economy in our region. I would begin by pointing out that the social economy in Poland has only been operating for 15 years, which was possible due to the EU fund, and it has been a response to high unemployment, where the local level of employment reached up to 40%. Therefore, my point of view, the Polish social economy has been associated mainly with social activation and employment, in particular employment of people with disabilities and social inclusions. But in Western Europe, European countries, I think it is associated with sustainable economy and green economy. Social economy has its place in our strategic documents. For example, in the Regional Development Strategy of West Pomerania, particularly in the priority 1.2, social inclusion and providing development opportunities for all inhabitants of the region. Also in the policy of capital and social cohesion. At the operational level, the West Pomeranian social economy development program is being implemented. It is a tool for regional public authorities to coordinate policies in the area of social economy. Now I would like to tell you that what is the role of the regional government of the voivodeship related in the field of social economy. For example, coordinate the development of the social economy in the region, supports the functioning of the West Pomeranian Social Economy Development Committee, and monitors the social economy sector in the region, initiates and participates in generating any policy paper regarding the social economy sector, lobbies for the social economy integration in local development policies, and promoting social economy entities and strengthening their potential through information campaigning, social economy expos conference, or organizing the Marshall competition for the social economy leader. On this map, I would like to show you that the social economy support system in our region. The region is divided into 4 sub-regions. There is a social economy support center in each sub-region, where they help all social economic entities in the field of, for example, creating jobs, creating a social economy entities, and business consulting, training, etc. Now I would like to present some statistic on our number of social economy entities in our region. For example, we have social cooperative, social enterprises, or vocational activity establishments, social integration center, and occupational therapy workshops. And for example, in our vocational activity establishment work in our regions, more than 630 person with disabled. The economic areas which the social economy entities operate in the West Pomeranian region are mainly services and production in generally. In services, for example, we have care services, catering services, or cleaning service and production. We have agriculture production, clothing and textile production, and healthy food production. As you know, the pandemic has affected our country as well as our region. It influenced the economy, but also in the social economy sector. You want to help social economy entities at the regional level by organization of the grant competition, providing one-time financial support to the applicant, local government unit, for the purchase of services from social economy entities. The service related to mitigate the effects of the pandemic and preventing into negative consequences. Of course, here we would like to use EFS to fund this project. And thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sven. Let me go back to normal.
Okay.
There we go. So thank you very much, Sven, for your presentation. And you can stop sharing a screen, please. I will stop you sharing a screen. There we go.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this overview. Colleagues, we are, to all of you, we are more than 10 minutes late. We are receiving a lot of interesting questions through the Q&A, and what I want to make sure is that these questions will be included. These questions, many of them addressed to the first panelists, but also to our regional panelists from Murcia, Brussels, and West Pomerania, will be included in the final report of this event that will be sent. But given that we have already a long event, I propose to move forward and continue advancing. So thank you to all the panelists in this roundtable, Minister Miguel Motas, Minister Clerfier, State Secretary Trecht, and Mr. Shivan Fay, Deputy Director of the Regional Center for Social Policy. And now we will move forward to the next roundtable. And the next roundtable is on the European Action Plan for the Social Economy at the heart of the strategy to restore sustainable growth and social cohesion in Europe. And we will hear from a diversity of social economy actors, active in welfare state, in social services and social inclusion, active in industry, active in renewable energies, active in the circular economy, in social finance, or in digitalization. So I would like to start by giving the floor to Heather Roy, Secretary General of Eurodiaconia, a new member of Social Economy Europe as from today, which is also an important thing that we are building a stronger community, a stronger social economy community. So Heather, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everybody. And as Victor has just said, I'm delighted that on behalf of Eurodiaconia that we have joined Social Economy Europe today and look forward to continuing to cooperate on this incredibly important issue. Eurodiaconia is a network of 52 organisations founded in the Christian tradition, active in 32 countries across Europe. And we bring together social service providers and advocates for social justice. And many of our members are involved directly in the provision of actions within the social economy. And I think the topic for this panel is incredibly important about how social economy contributes to the fabric, the social fabric of our societies. And as Commissioner Schmit already said this afternoon, without organisations who are active with that social perspective in the social economy, we would be missing a lot of the services and the advocacy and the activities that are necessary to have a well-functioning society. Many of our members are involved in work integrating social enterprises, but not only as social service providers within the care sector, as our colleague from Poland just noted, social economy actors are very, very engaged. And the provision of social services also leads to the empowerment of people, which is one of the overall goals for us of the social economy, of empowering people to be active actors of their own lives. And we welcome the idea of an action plan on social economy at the EU level. It's long overdue. It's been really some time since there has been some concerted, integrated action on social economy. However, we have to be very, very careful at the moment to ensure that we're aligning the initiatives on social economy with other initiatives, such as the proposed action plan on the European Pillar of Social Rights. It's by bringing these two initiatives together that we will ensure a functioning ecosystem for the social economy that achieves the goals of the well-being of people in our societies. And I know that we're short of time now this afternoon, so I will try and be quite quick. And I wanted to pick up on a couple of points that Commissioner Schmit had referred to already this afternoon, and how they are really happening at the moment. And one of those was around resilience. Commissioner Schmit spoke very clearly about the resilience of the social economy sector. And in normal times, that is very much the case. But right now, the resilience of the sector is being tested as a result of COVID-19. And that's because many of the actions, certainly that our members are engaged in, have had to stop because of COVID-19. And that means that people who would normally benefit from the work integration activities, or organisations that would fund other social services as a result of social economy activity, are facing incredible challenges right now. One of our Danish members, one of the biggest social actors in Denmark, is currently looking at a 3.5 million euro loss this year because they are unable to operate in the current environment. And that is not just an impact financially. that's going to be an impact on the lives of the people who have been engaged in those services and in those actions. And that impact will potentially have a detrimental effect on our social fabric, on our social cohesion and their well-being. So resilience is currently under threat. We can be resilient in the social economy sector, but we need to have the support at the right times in order to keep that resilience up. And right now, we have the threats, of course, of having to lay people off in our sector, of having to close down services and activities, as I mentioned, and indeed the lack of funding. And Commissioner Schmit spoke about flexibility and the flexibility that's been put in place with instruments such as the CRI and the CRI Plus funds. But that money is not reaching the organisations in the social economy who are acting on the ground. And we need to make some changes now, not in a year's time when we have a social economy action plan to address the financial needs of the sector. Otherwise, that resilience will be gone. The third point I wanted to make was around innovation. Yes, we can be innovative in the sector, but the sector needs to exist in order for us to be innovative. We need to have the financial support, the legal frameworks in order to be innovative. Right now, we are struggling to survive in the social economy sector. Certainly, that's what we're hearing from many of our members. And what we want from a social economy action plan is to thrive, to be that place where people can come, receive assistance, be empowered, be active. We cannot be resilient. We cannot access the supposed flexibility, and we cannot be innovative right now and take our place in performing the actions and the activities that are needed to have a strong social fabric if there is not direct support at the moment. Commissioner Schmit said that we can't do without our sector, and that is really encouraging to hear, but we can't do anything in our sector without the support of the EU and of member states right now. So as we develop an action plan, we need to have both intermediate and long-term actions to support the sector and ensure that in future crises, the sector is not affected in the way it is at the moment. That doesn't mean we can leave the sector where it is just now. We would also like to see immediate action happening now to support the sector and those people who are working in it. We want to see a strong Europe. We want to see that Europe that ensures the well-being of all its people, and social economy can do that. We have so many examples of organisations that have developed the most amazing projects to ensure that people are able to do what they should be able to do and get the support they need. But if we want that contribution to continue, the action plan on social economy needs to address our needs. It needs to address the alignment of the pillar of social rights and the needs of the economy sector. I'll stop there, as I know as I said, we're short of time, but happy to answer any questions later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heather. By the way, Commissioner Schmit left us some minutes ago, but he left a very interesting message that I want to share with all of you, and also which demonstrates his willingness to cooperate and to co-construct these policies. He says, "Thank you all for the insightful discussion. It is important to join forces and continue working together to support the social economy and strive for a more inclusive and fairer society." So I think that it was a good message and a message of availability to cooperate in co-building EU policies. And now we will give the floor to Mrs. Claudia Fiaschi. Mrs. Fiaschi is a spokesperson of the Italian National Third Sector Forum, Forum Nazionale Terzo Settore, a key organization in Italy that has had a very high-level dialogue with the Italian government in the last weeks, precisely to do what Heather was saying, immediate support measures for the social economy. So Claudia, please, the floor is yours.
Grazie a voi per aver organizzato questo evento, sia Social Economy Intergroup che l'Intergruppo per l'Economia Sociale. Credo che sia molto importante l'attenzione che oggi stiamo mettendo tutti insieme su questo fenomeno, quello dell'economia sociale. In Italia lo chiamiamo terzo settore perché siamo convinti che questo può costituire un grande driver per lo sviluppo e la ripartenza delle comunità umane nel mondo e in Europa, soprattutto dopo un'emergenza che ha reso molto evidenti alcune sfide per il futuro che non potremo che affrontare insieme. In Italia il terzo settore è una realtà, l'economia sociale è una realtà molto importante, sono 350.000 organizzazioni, sono 6 milioni di volontari, 800.000 operatori professionali, 7 miliardi di valore economico, un 6% del PIL del paese. Ma il dato più importante prima della pandemia è che questo era quel pezzo dell'economia che cresceva maggiormente rispetto agli altri, sia per numero di addetti, sia per numero di organizzazioni, e cresceva soprattutto nelle aree del paese più deboli, quindi il sud del paese, le aree interne, laddove faceva fatica ad arrivare anche l'intervento delle nostre istituzioni. Dico questo perché queste emergenze di noi ha avuto modo in ogni comunità del mondo di fare conti con il dolore, la morte e la solitudine. Era da tanto tempo che nel mondo ciascuno non sperimentava tutte insieme queste cose, e allora credo che questo ci abbia aiutato a rimettere in ordine alcune delle priorità che riguardano le attività umane e anche quelle quindi delle sfide di pace e prosperità che guidano insomma, il pensiero di sviluppo, almeno per quanto ci riguarda, in termini di economia e sociale. Allora, credo che dobbiamo distinguere gli apprendimenti di questa emergenza, dobbiamo trasformare l'innovazione sociale e i nuovi dello sviluppo, per avere comunità felici anche la prima è sull'economia e sul pianeta, perché ci siamo tutti accorti dopo le prime settimane di lockdown che la natura, gli alberi, le persone hanno bisogno di respirare, hanno bisogno di una tregua dalle attività umane, che l'economia non è il primo bene comune, che la salute non coincide con l'accesso ai servizi sanitari, e che la felicità pubblica è il risultato di un equilibrio molto delicato tra tanti fattori: salute, socialità, luoghi adatti per la vita dell'uomo, benessere economico, e che quindi abbiamo bisogno di un'economia che non sia solo ispirata al principio della sostenibilità e dell'inclusione sociale, come ci diciamo da molto tempo, ma anche dell'utilità sociale. E quindi un'economia che ritorni a produrre le cose utili alla qualità della vita delle persone, non soltanto quindi valore economico. Il secondo grande apprendimento è che non esistono comunità autosufficienti e che quindi si mala insieme, si guarisce insieme. Questo vale per la pandemia, ma vale anche per l'economia. L'altro apprendimento è che nelle emergenze i deboli diventano davvero molto più deboli, e che quindi dal primo giorno del lockdown, nel momento in cui abbiamo chiuso i nostri paesi, si è aperta la più grande emergenza sociale della storia dopo il dopoguerra, e che ha fatto vedere che ci sono persone che non riescono ad accedere ai fondamentali, individuo, educativo, formativo, sociale, sanitario, ma anche a beni essenziali come il cibo, perché le disuguaglianze che si stanno generando sono molto diverse. Ci sono economiche che sono di lavoro e di reddito che richiedono davvero un ripensamento sul modello di distribuzione della ricchezza. Abbiamo visto come facciamo a declinare la solidarietà sociale quando molti diversi della popolazione di un paese, della nostra comunità europea, non può lavorare, non vuole, non può. La seconda riflessione è quali sono le disuguaglianze sociali. Chi è privo di reti di supporto rimane davvero molto solo in un'emergenza come quella che abbiamo vissuto, e quella tecnologica. Il divide digitale è davvero un fattore discriminante per l'accesso alle opportunità, non soltanto a quelle di svago, ma anche a quelle fondamentali. Penso solo all'istruzione a distanza, che è diventata un elemento molto difficile per i bambini che vivevano nei contesti socio-economici più deboli. L'altro apprendimento è quello dell'importanza degli investimenti in educazione civica. Noi possiamo mettere tanti soldi nel controllo sociale, ma nulla pagherà mai quanto gli investimenti in educazione civica nella responsabilità delle persone e dei cittadini di assumere i comportamenti giusti di fronte a delle situazioni di difficoltà. E l'altro grande apprendimento, a mio avviso, è quello che l'efficacia e l'efficienza non sono solo i principi guida. La situazione sanitaria. Il modo di gestire l'accoglienza, la sanità, gli ospedali, il fatto di mettere i bambini dentro un'emergenza sanitaria. Allora noi dobbiamo saper mantenere quella flessibilità, quella creatività intelligente tra le risposte standard che ci sembrano efficaci e efficienti, ma per essere in grado di dare risposte intelligenti, commisurate alla comunità e al nuovo contesto reale. L'altro apprendimento è quello della tecnologia e del ruolo delle nuove generazioni nelle emergenze. Abbiamo visto come la necessità di non lasciare indietro nessuno ci ha fatto diventare tutti molto più abili nell'uso delle tecnologie, ma senza le nuove generazioni questo non sarebbe stato possibile, e questo ci deve ricordare come il futuro sta nelle mani di chi sa sognarlo, e quindi abbiamo bisogno di rinforzare anche nell'economia sociale il ruolo delle nuove generazioni. L'altro grande apprendimento per noi è quello delle soluzioni collettive tra attori nelle comunità. Nessuno è autosufficiente, solo lavorando insieme possiamo avere impatto, velocità di intervento e capacità di effettivamente di arrivare dappertutto, di non lasciare indietro nessuno e di continuare ad avere comunità forti. In questo il ruolo dell'economia sociale nell'emergenza in Italia è stato un ruolo importantissimo, perché è un'architettura delle nostre comunità, è presente in ogni territorio e quindi è stato il principale strumento che non solo è riuscito a dare continuità di intervento alle persone più fragili delle comunità, che già erano in qualche modo in contatto con queste reti, ma è stato anche in grado di approntare nuove soluzioni nell'emergenza accanto alle istituzioni. È un mondo che ha i suoi problemi, questa emergenza ne ha provocati moltissimi, perché ha richiesto ovviamente di riorganizzare tutte le azioni e quindi di inventare nuove cose con grandi costi. Ha ovviamente un mondo che ha affrontato questa emergenza in un momento in cui non c'erano più i ricavi, i proventi dalle donazioni, dalle raccolte fondi, perché sono tutte state concentrate sull'emergenza sanitaria e non sull'emergenza sociale, quindi è un mondo che ha continuato a fare la sua parte, però venendo meno i suoi principali sostegni, che quindi ha una difficoltà oggi a sostenere i suoi costi generali e anche i suoi investimenti pregressi, che fortunatamente grazie alle misure del nostro governo ha avuto la possibilità di attivare una serie di ammortizzatori sociali a vantaggio del grande numero di occupati che è impegnato in questo mondo e che lavorava nei settori che hanno dovuto fermarsi, e che però ci ha fatto esprimere sempre la preoccupazione che quasi il 50% delle organizzazioni di terzo settore, se non sostenute all'interno di interventi delle istituzioni, potrebbe non arrivare viva alla fine di questa emergenza, con un grande impoverimento delle nostre comunità locali. Allora, cosa occorre per sostenere a livello dei governi, ma anche a livello dell'Europa, questo mondo? La prima questione è consolidare il pilastro sociale europeo. Noi stiamo dicendolo nel nostro paese, lo diciamo in Europa, abbiamo bisogno di sapere quali sono i diritti esigibili del cittadino europeo e del cittadino italiano per essere veloci nelle scelte politiche nei momenti di emergenza. Abbiamo bisogno di riconoscere in modo formale che l'economia sociale nelle sue diverse forme, dal volontariato all'impresa sociale, che sono espressioni di cittadinanza importante ma diverse, devono avere uno spazio dentro le politiche, non solo quelle sociali ma anche quelle economiche del paese, che questi soggetti lavorano, vivono ed operano in sussidiarietà con le istituzioni, non sono fornitori delle istituzioni, e questo richiede che il rapporto tra questo mondo e queste realtà non sia quello dettato dalle regole della concorrenza, ma sia quello dettato dalle regole della coprogrammazione, della coprogettazione delle iniziative sociali di pubblica utilità. Dobbiamo aprire ovviamente a questa forma di economia tutte le misure di sostegno che ci viene naturale pensare in questa pandemia a supporto del sistema delle imprese, perché ciò che è efficace per questi mondi è efficace anche per l'economia sociale, perché anche se il mondo dell'economia sociale non sempre si sostiene con attività commerciali, quindi con corrispettivi a fronte di una vendita di beni e servizi, abbiamo dimostrato e dimostrato che è in grado di mobilitare risorse, di organizzarle in modo stabile e continuativo, e si parla di persone, di beni, di investimenti, per produrre beni comuni senza finalità di profitto a vantaggio di tutta la collettività. E questo è un tema molto importante da comprendere. Quindi credito, ammortizzatori sociali, sostegno alla liquidità, sostegno all'innovazione, perché questo mondo dovrà ripensare complessivamente il proprio modo di operare, ci sta già lavorando, ha bisogno di consolidare gli apprendimenti fatti in questa emergenza, e se sarà adeguatamente sostenuto anche a livello europeo, oltre che dai governi nazionali, potrà veramente rappresentare uno strumento per consolidare la resilienza delle nostre comunità. Io mi premo, chiudo dicendo che l'economia sociale è un pezzo della nostra democrazia, che è diversa da quella di andare a votare per le elezioni, è un modo di partecipare alla nostra Repubblica, che oggi noi in Italia festeggiamo, e quindi voglio sottolinearlo, è un pezzo della nostra felicità pubblica, perché ciascuno di noi può fare qualcosa per migliorare il mondo in cui viviamo, e attraverso l'economia sociale ciascuno di noi in maniera organizzata e non in maniera spontaneistica dà un contributo strutturale alla felicità collettiva. Quindi noi ci aspettiamo e speriamo che ci sia un piano di azione per l'economia sociale in Europa, che il recovery plan abbia delle azioni che siano dedicate a consolidare e a strutturare un sistema strutturato di economia sociale nei nostri paesi e in Europa. Grazie e buona continuazione, disponibile a ogni domanda. Grazie.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Indeed, collective happiness, or being a key part of our social market economy and of our democracies, seem important reflections. Just one thing, we're lagging a bit behind the timing, so I will ask the coming speakers to stick to the 6 minutes, you have. And we will move now to Gianluca Verasani, who is representing today SEIG, the European Confederation of Industrial and Worker Cooperatives and Social Cooperatives, and who also represents the Italian cooperative movement. Gianluca, the floor is yours.
Grazie per l'invito. Mi aiuterò con alcune slide.
I will help you. Give me a minute. Okay, you're doing it. Perfect.
Eccole qui. Allora, intanto grazie a tutti. Io rappresento Legacoop Produzione e Servizi, che è l'associazione italiana aderente a SECOP, quindi la nostra Confederazione Europea delle Cooperative di Lavoro e di Servizi. Prima di tutto mi preme presentarvi alcuni numeri. Adesso se va avanti, vediamo se funziona la presentazione.
You have to do it with the mouse, clicking on the...
Oh, yeah. Ecco qua, vado. Ok. Allora, alcuni numeri della cooperazione in Italia. Le cooperative sono quelle che vedete, più di 78.000, un giro d'affari molto importante, quasi un cittadino italiano su 4 è socio di una cooperativa, che sia di consumo, agricola, sociale, di comunità o di lavoro, e l'incidenza del giro d'affari delle cooperative in Italia rappresenta l'8% sul prodotto interno lordo italiano. Legacoop Produzione e Servizi, la nostra associazione, raggruppa 2.500 cooperative di lavoro per 16,5 miliardi di turnover e rappresenta circa 150.000 lavoratori. È importante sottolineare che l'85% di questi lavoratori è anche socio della cooperativa, quindi a tutti gli effetti un titolare della cooperativa. Le filiere più rappresentate nelle cooperative industriali italiane sono tante. Come vedete, la filiera della casa, che tra l'altro è una delle più colpite dalla crisi ormai ultradecennale che ha colpito l'Italia e l'Europa, che è la crisi del mercato delle costruzioni, quindi tutto ciò che avviene all'interno del mondo delle imprese edili. Quindi impianti, macchinari, food, produzione di cibo per la casa, prodotti per la casa, packaging, carta e vestiario. Quindi sono catene molto diverse tra di loro che raggruppano New e Old Economy. Parlerò soprattutto dei workers buyout. Il tema è come provare ad affrontare questa crisi. Vedete, io provo ad immaginare questa crisi sanitaria, questa pandemia, come fosse stata una lunga onda di tsunami che ha coperto tutto e adesso pian piano si sta ritirando, mostrando quali sono i problemi che sono presenti all'interno della nostra economia. Stiamo assistendo a una crisi economica molto importante, ci sono tante imprese che faranno fatica, sarà molto difficile per loro ripartire dopo mesi di stop. Allora noi crediamo che ci possa essere una soluzione, che è questa. La soluzione si chiama workers buyout. È un fenomeno già presente da tanti anni in Italia, in Europa e anche nel mondo, ma crediamo che questa possa essere una appunto, soluzione efficace per con tre possibilità. Con imprese in crisi, mancanza di passaggio generazionale all'interno delle imprese e le imprese confiscate alla criminalità organizzata. Voi sapete che soprattutto nel nostro sud c'è questo fenomeno. Noi abbiamo già tante esperienze di cooperative che nascono da imprese confiscate alla mafia e quindi questo rende anche, porta legalità anche in zone dove ce n'è davvero un bisogno assoluto. Per fare dei workers buyout c'è bisogno di tanti players diversi, quindi c'è bisogno dei sindacati, c'è bisogno di chi cura le procedure di fallimento delle imprese, gli strumenti finanziari, ovviamente i soci, gli istituti bancari, consulenti, quindi è davvero un grande gioco di squadra che dobbiamo appunto, al quale dobbiamo partecipare in tanti, dalle istituzioni fino appunto agli istituti finanziari. Workers buyout in Italia, i numeri. Qui il nostro fondo di promozione, ad esempio, ha partecipato alla nascita di 65 cooperative. Poi vedremo invece la finanziaria partecipata al Ministero dello Sviluppo Economico che ha seguito oltre 300 imprese cooperative nate da situazioni di difficoltà. 1650 lavoratori, significa 1650 posti di lavoro salvati, con un percentuale di successo di oltre l'80%. Ma questo non è un caso. Questa alta percentuale di successo, che è molto più alta ad esempio rispetto al tasso di sopravvivenza di una startup innovativa, è dovuto al grande lavoro iniziale che si fa per comprendere se quell'impresa può stare sul mercato, se ha le caratteristiche di un'impresa di successo, per cui la selezione avviene precedentemente. Una volta processato questo tentativo di formazione di una nuova impresa, questa ha ottime possibilità di rimanere sul mercato e rimane in effetti sul mercato per tanti anni. I workers buyout hanno un effetto leva molto importante perché generano risorse per lo Stato, perché moltiplicano il credito, la finanza che ricevono. Ovviamente salvano posti di lavoro e ne creano dei nuovi, ma la cosa credo importante da sottolineare è che il rapporto tra il capitale investito e quello generato da queste nuove cooperative è di 1 a 4. Significa che il capitale che viene investito viene poi restituito anche allo Stato sotto forma di tasse, di contributi pensionistici, di lavoro svolto, di valore aggiunto generato 4 volte rispetto al capitale investito. Quindi tutto sommato è un affare importante che genera posti di lavoro ma genera anche ricchezza. Per farlo c'è bisogno di tanti strumenti finanziari, in particolare ne sottolineo alcuni, pochi, perché vorrei rappresentarlo anche rapidamente. Coop Fund, il nostro fondo mutualistico, l'aspetto più importante è quello delle risorse col quale viene alimentato Coop Fund, e qui c'è un rapporto di stretta mutualità tra le cooperative esistenti e quelle che facciamo nascere attraverso la partecipazione a questo fondo. Come vedete, una delle risorse è il 3% dei profitti delle cooperative esistenti, cioè tutte le cooperative che hanno degli utili e che aderiscono alla nostra associazione versano per legge il 3% degli utili al fondo. Il fondo fa nascere nuove cooperative, quindi genera ulteriore ricchezza utilizzando una parte della ricchezza generata dalle nostre cooperative. Non solo, CFI, Cooperazione Finanza Impresa, è una finanziaria che viene finanziata appunto dal Ministero dello Sviluppo Economico e che ha un ruolo altrettanto essenziale rispetto al nostro fondo di promozione. In questo caso è una impresa unitaria, quindi alla quale aderiscono tutte le centrali cooperative italiane e lavora in stretta collaborazione col fondo. Anche in questo caso finanzia la nascita di nuove cooperative. Altri strumenti, ma sono solo una parte di tutti gli strumenti che fanno parte del movimento cooperativo. Coop Export, un piccolo consorzio per l'export dedicato soprattutto alle piccole e medie imprese, che sono quelle che hanno più difficoltà ad andare su mercati internazionali, a partecipare a fiere, ad eventi promozionali, quindi per presentare i propri prodotti e servizi all'estero. Innovacoop è una nostra società che si occupa soprattutto di sviluppare innovazione, quindi ha rapporti con enti di ricerca, università e crea valore aggiunto appunto mettendo in contatto e in connessione le cooperative con gli enti di ricerca e di sviluppo. Le nostre proposte, quindi concludo rapidamente approfittando appunto del tempo che mi è stato dato a disposizione. Quindi occorre proteggere l'industria tradizionale presente in Europa. Noi prima della pandemia pensavamo che qualsiasi prodotto fosse disponibile nei tempi e nelle dimensioni che avremmo cercato. Abbiamo visto che non è così. Con la pandemia, ad esempio, noi cercavamo dei prodotti, mi riferisco ad esempio alle mascherine, no? Le maschere di protezione, che non venivano prodotti in Europa, quindi dovevamo importarle, ma non ce n'erano a sufficienza, mettendo a rischio gli operatori sanitari ed i cittadini. Noi dobbiamo riappropriarci di queste produzioni, almeno parzialmente, per rispondere a queste situazioni. Fare formazione e training per sostenere la transizione all'economia digitale e all'economia verde per le nostre imprese. Il sostegno e la promozione del modello cooperativo, perché, come ho detto prima, è un modello sostenibile che non delocalizza e che può valorizzare appunto anche le produzioni locali. Sostenere le piccole e medie cooperative, ad esempio, negli appalti pubblici, perché spesso hanno difficoltà ad avere le competenze che servono per intervenire negli appalti pubblici. Infine, creare maggiore collaborazione tra le istituzioni, le università, gli enti di ricerca in un'ottica di open innovation, cioè le piccole e medie cooperative da sole non possono vincere la sfida. Noi abbiamo cooperative con alcuni soci e con poche centinaia di migliaia di euro di giro d'affari, fino alla più grande cooperativa industriale italiana che fattura 1.500 milioni. Ma la stragrande maggioranza è composta da piccole cooperative che hanno bisogno di lavorare assieme, investire e fare ricerca di innovazione. Ultimissima, fatemi ricordare la festa della Repubblica Italiana, oggi sono 74 anni, viva l'Italia, viva l'Europa. Grazie.
Grazie mille, Gianluca. Very interesting intervention on how social economy can save jobs and companies, relocalize industry, save our industry, and also foster reindustrialization through collective entrepreneurship. And also, as always, very impressive presentation of the full Italian ecosystem to support cooperative entrepreneurship and all the instruments that you have in this intercooperation logic to help board your enterprises. Now we will give the floor to Mr. Dr. Burghard Flieger from Innova AG, who will talk also about promoting collective entrepreneurship to build an economy that works for people on the planet. So, Mr. Flieger, the floor is yours. Again, please remind to stick to 6 minutes because we have to finish at a normal timing today. Mr. Flieger?
You can hear me?
We hear you very well.
Okay, very nice. It must, I can't see, you can see me, huh?
We see your name, but we don't see your image.
Bildschirm freigeben.
Just a second, I'll try to help you with that.
Wait a moment, yes, thank you. Okay. You can see it?
Not yet, but maybe you can start and we will try to fix it in the meantime.
I can start, you can see it.
We don't see you, but you can start with your presentation. Hello? Are you trying
yes.
There we go. Now we see you. Now we see you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation and opportunity to speak to you about promotion collective entrepreneurship to build an economy that works for people and the planet. My name is Burghard Flieger. I live in Freiburg in Germany. I have worked on the topic of new social innovative cooperatives for more than 35 years. I advise, qualify, and research on this topic more than one other in Germany. In order to understand the following calls for European policy, it is important to know that many new small collective enterprises are being established in Germany. For example, more than 1,000 cooperatives, energy cooperatives, around 250 senior citizen cooperatives, about 29 community-supported agriculture, we called it Solavi farms, and between 2,000 and 3,000 community housing projects. Most of them do not show the legal form of registered cooperative in Germany because it is too complicated and too expensive for them. What are the problems of new social enterprise? New social enterprise are small without financial resources. They covered a wide range of sectors with very different independent concepts and constraints. They do not have a strong lobby, hardly at all at the European level and weakly at the German national level. At the national and the European level, the traditional cooperative association, such as the German Cooperative and Raiffeisen Association, act as representatives of the new social enterprise. In the fact, they do not understand them and do not support their objectives. In many promotion and support programs at national and European level, new social enterprises are not included. They are sitting between the chairs, but they have the enterprises who stand for a new social and ecological Europe. How can the situation be made better? In the following, I will list 7 points for helping to improve the situation of collective enterprise. Point 1, consultation on the possibilities of development new support structures should be based on the principle of targeted search instead of publishing lobbying by professionals at European and national level. In this way, not only big associations and lobby organizations should be heard. It's for me very important. Top 2, support and financial assistance must be made available. These should enable the development of sector-related cooperation and association structures of small solidarity enterprises. Point 3, these associations and cooperatives should serve as awarding and management organization of a European label that is absolutely necessary to develop collective enterprise and the products of the social solidarity-based economy they identified in this way. Top 4, it is important to launch a statute for social and solidarity enterprise of European level. On this basic, national governments should also do this. Top 5, fiscal treatment, promotion and support structures should be oriented to do it compatible with the European label named above. Top 6, it is also important to set up sectoral self-administration solidarity funds for social enterprise. This can be used to finance startups, social enterprise in crisis, and economic and social joint ventures. And the last point, European support programs must commit national governments to include information and national definition of social enterprise in their national implications so that they can fully participate. Thank you for your attention. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flieger, for your very insightful presentation of the situation in Germany and also for your proposals for the German and European levels. Thanks for that. Sorry to insist, all your presentations are extremely interesting. That's why I don't want to cut you, but we really have to try to finish on time. I will give the floor to Matthias Neitsch. I count on you, Matthias and colleagues, to respect the timings. And I will try not to cut you because all of you, as I said, have very interesting things to transmit to all of us. Matthias is President-Elect of REUSE, the European network of social enterprises active in reuse, repair, and recycle. The floor is yours, Matthias.
Thank you very much for this invitation. And yes, I am the President-Elect, which means before becoming President, it still needs some paperwork, which was delayed due to COVID. And I hope that you all can see my screen now. I shared my screen. I have a small presentation. Is it okay?
We do see your screen. You can put it in full screen if you prefer, but we see it as it is.
Yeah,
you will
I will put it in full screen. Okay. So social economy, as we already heard, is a catalyzer of the green transition, and I will try to give a little bit more details on why this is the case and what we need for the future. Our network, the REUSE network, manages 1 million tons of material per year, which goes to recycling or to reuse. And this is 137 times the Eiffel Tower of Paris, if you have a rough imagination of how much that is. But what is even more important is that 95,000 employees, volunteers, and trainees are managing this huge task, and many of them are from vulnerable groups, and by this job find their way out of poverty and into a new respected life on the first labor market. And our customers buy the reusable items in more than 2,000 shops, and we have 39 million customers, which is roughly the population of Poland. And most European countries have less population than we have customers. So this is, yeah, as we say in my home country, Austria, this is not nothing. This is how it looks, very colorful. What we do, we are engaged in textile collection, furniture collection, redistributing all of these items, even in the construction sector, as you see in the below center. We are engaged in demolition, taking reusable parts out of demolition buildings. We even reuse paints. And of course, this is not done in industrial automatic processes, but by a lot of people. And these are the people that make the whole idea alive. And they are proudly producing value out of things that already had a value. So what they are doing is giving items a second chance on the market. And this is how our shops look like. There you see slightly no difference in to so-called normal commercial shops, but all these are reuse shops, and they give you a really good shopping feeling as any other shop or retail store would do. And but let me now come to the point of my presentation today. We are discussing today about the Social Economy Action Plan of the European Union. But there are also other action plans. And if you put the 3 pillars of sustainability together and balance them out, then in the middle field, you see in the center field of this presentation, you see what is produced there, that is resilience. If all these pillars are balanced, and if you fill this with some more content, with the Social Economy Action Plan, with the Circular Economy Action Plan, and with local economic well-being, you see that the overlapping field in the middle, this is where our members, the circular and social reuse enterprises, as we call them, produce resilience. Of course, now in the COVID crisis, their own resilience is severely threatened. But if we strengthen this sector, we will strengthen resilience as a whole in society and economy. And if we fill this with still a little bit more content, you see that if you invest in the center field of these 3 policy fields, and you could add a lot more policy topics as circles around this, but always if you invest time and money and effort into the center field, you reach the highest efficiency and effectiveness of financial and regulatory impact. And still, this is very abstract. And so I would like to give you a few examples of topics that our network is affiliated with. First of all, the social economy has to do a lot with the labor market. And if you invest into the labor market and you do not invest your effort in this center field, then you might have a good effect for employment, but you have no contribution to circular economy, and vice versa. So what we face in many countries is that there are labor market investment programs, but they are simply not connected with circular economy activities or environmental activities. So you have to connect this. And this is what we would like to see in the European Union. We have the Social Economy Action Plan in the near future. We already have the Circular Economy Action Plan mentioning social enterprises as pioneers, as a very important force in this transition to a circular economy, but still these two sectors, policy sectors, do not talk to each other. It's like having two different planets who speak a different language and do not cooperate. Do not create their joint funding programs, their joint policy and regulatory efforts. And the same with textile collection. Textile collection is a very vital business field of our members. It covers a lot of the costs that otherwise the taxpayer would have to bear for poverty prevention programs, and by textile collection you can finance a lot of this work. But now we will have, in the context of the Circular Economy Action Plan, the Commission is talking about the textile strategy. And if the social economy is not included at the heart of the designing of this new textile strategy, then this whole financing tool of our work will break away. And textile collection in the future will happen by private enterprises, by waste management enterprises, and the textile industry and the fiber recycling industry will do the job, and we are left behind. So we hope this will not happen. And there are a lot of other points in the list. I just mentioned one more: public procurement. Many of our members are very happy about the new public procurement rules now, but still have no chance because still in the practical public procurement processes, they are usually not the ones able to bid with the least price. Of course, there are regulations that should the best bidder should get the job, but in practice this is not the case. And so our Italian colleagues especially complain that they in many procurement processes they have no chance. In Austria, my home country, I would like to have such luxury problems. We do not even have the capacity to join in public procurement processes because we are funded, most of our members in Austria are funded by the Labor Market Agency. And every year the funding regulation is changing, so we cannot enter into contracts for many years because we simply do not know how our workforce will look like next year due to the regulation of the Labor Market Authority. And I could add more to this list. We are in our REUSE network, in our organization, and also as member of the European Social Economy Network, we are ready to participate in the future policy development. And we would like to be included also in all the other topics where social economy is touched and has a vital interest, which is not only the social policy sector, but also most of the other policy sectors. And so this is mainly what I would like to stress. And in the end, if we are successful, then maybe we can relax like these colleagues of one of our members in Italy on the left side of this picture, and lean back and enjoy the sunshine of a social and solidar and ecological Europe of the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matthias, for your presentation. I will abuse of the confidence with the two next speakers, Daniel Sorrosal and Oscar Berlinden, to ask them to do their presentations in 5 minutes. They are colleagues, so I hope that they will do it. Daniel, you are in a very nice landscape. The floor is yours. We don't hear you yet. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let me share my screen so that I try to do this as fast as possible as you requested. So my idea was to tell you who we are, what we do, and try to address a little bit our concerns in regards to the social economy plan. First of all, thank you for the invitation. I think this is a very excellent webinar in which we have really had the opportunity to see many points of view. In terms of who we are an international association working on ethical finance. For those of you who don't know what it is, it means finance with values, and as I will explain now. We work on advocacy, on communication, exchange, and participation of European citizens. I have to do this with the mouse, right? Yes. So our DNA means that we think finance should be at the service of the citizen, and it should serve to build a better society. We encourage participation through the democratic governance of our members, and it is those citizens who govern our organizations that define our social, economic, and environmental goals. Going back to what I think it was the representative of Terzo Settore said, we don't look to maximize profit or shareholder value. We try to maximize societal values, this utilità sociale, which is a bit difficult to translate in English, but it's really what we aim at. And we think finance should be targeted. It should not be used to do anything, but it should be used to be invested in those initiatives that either contribute to solidarity, to social cohesion, or to sustainable development. Our approach is not transactions, but rather relationships. We have very strong alliances with civil society and with local authorities in the places where we work. We have 31 members in 15 countries. And in terms of overall numbers, I think our members represent around 700,000 clients, 30 billion in deposits, 18 billion in loans, of which really 90% really go to the social economy. So we can proudly say that we are among the main financiers of the social economy. In terms of our approach, we really focus in investing in those initiatives that basically combine job creation, sustainable development, and international solidarity. And I would like to go back to what the person of REUSE was saying, that I think that we have to combine a lot more the idea of social with economic and environmental. It's those three that allow us to really hit the goal of building a better society. In terms of our European engagement, we are a proud member of GECES. We've been advocating for a while on the inclusion of social issues in the idea of sustainable finance. So not only green, but green and social, and ideally societal combined is what we think should be the contribution of the social economy to Europe. We are a proud member of Social Economy Europe, and we collaborate with other organizations in the promotion of ethical finance in public policy. Challenges, this is what I wanted to get to. We already had a number of challenges before this COVID crisis came. Migration was a challenge, social inclusion was a challenge, climate change was a huge challenge, and now all of a sudden we have a health crisis and an economic crisis on top of that. And I think this has to force us to change the perspective. I think that we have to apply different criteria to reconstruction. Whatever we do should serve to build a society that is social, economic, and environmental at the same time. This should be our new goal for sustainability, to build a sustainable society which lives, let's say, within the boundaries of our economy, of our client, and our society. And I think that those should be the guidelines that should guide the new programming period in terms of the use of European money. And I'm not saying we have to review everything, but I pose the question, like, is InvestEU as it was written still relevant in our context now? Are we reaching that goal by doing business as usual? I think we have to really rethink a little bit our priorities. And I think our priority should be on building an economy that goes beyond just green or digital. I think we have to go to an economy that is inclusive, that is oriented to the common good, and that is regenerative towards our ecosystems. And this means that we have to build that into the next generation of financial instruments, and ensure that not only the EU, but also the financial partners like the EIF or EIB, who often serve as the first intermediary before it gets to us, adhere to that vision. I think doing what we were doing before will just not be good enough now. And I would like to maybe put a sense of urgency as well, as I think Heather Roy was doing, in terms of what is expected. I think at the moment, before we think of how to develop the social economy, we have to preserve it. We feel through our members that many social economy organizations are suffering. They're not being able to develop their services, to develop their products, to do their job, because they have to stop. So at the moment, we have to use every instrument at our disposal to maximize its potential and its flexibility to preserve the social economic sector first. Then, once we do that, and in about 6 months' time, we will have to think of how to rebuild those social economy organizations which will have suffered. At the moment, we are buying them time. We are providing a credit, we are providing them space to breathe. But in about 6 months' time, whenever the crisis is a bit better, we will see that we will have to invest again. And this means that we have to include a specific conditionality on every EU fund we will deploy, that it serves to generate local growth, that it serves to job creation, that it serves to inclusion, and it serves to natural regeneration. And this is, I think, something we have to really make the EU understand as well. And sorry, I let you be. In terms of our contribution, we want to be basically part of that. We want to contribute with our people, our money, and our know-how in basically building this social economy of the future that is inclusive, is oriented to the common good, and regenerates our ecosystems. And we hope to be the financial partners of the EU in doing that. So thank you for that. I think I've passed my 50 seconds, and I thank you for the possibility to address you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. It was nice to hear the birds also. A bit difficult for interpreters, but very nice in terms of setting, as I said at the beginning. And thank you also for sticking to time and presenting the great work FEBEA is doing. We will move now to Oscar Berlinden, who is Advocacy Manager at the European Microfinance Network, also a new member of Social Economy Europe as from today. Oscar, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Victor. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you very well.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for inviting me today. And thanks also for the opening words now, Daniel. It's great to have a chance to be able to represent alongside you here. I thought I'd take the opportunity today to just go very briefly over microfinance in general, because it's one topic that we haven't spoken about yet today from the stakeholders. Just sort of, what is it? What's the EU doing on it? What place has it had in EU policy so far? Where are we now, and what's the future? So there's a couple of short questions to be asked there. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll see if I can get it to work. Okay, does this work?
Yes, it does.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So microfinance, let's refresh for a moment what it is. So microfinance are financial tools, usually credits, let's say, offered to financial excluded people or people at risk of financial exclusion, coupled with business development services for the purpose of professional activities. So these are small loans, usually to entrepreneurs who have difficulties accessing credit from the bank for some reason. Sometimes they don't have a guarantee, etc. This is a part of financial inclusion, and it is very relevant now as it has been before. It fights inequalities, and it increases the chances for integration into society and the economy. It goes towards financial inclusion, helps fix the social fabric of society, and has a net positive effect on public budget due to the reduced reliance on welfare and the creation of value. So, knowing that, since 2007, the European Commission did an official communication which sort of gave the thrust from that point onwards of what microfinance should represent in Europe. And so it had a number of very specific recommendations, and there were two main recommendations that I'd like to just read out loud. So one was, member states should adopt appropriate national, institutional, legal, and commercial frameworks to promote a more favorable environment for the development of microfinance. And the second one is that the EU should provide technical assistance and access to finance for MFIs with exemplary conduct. So the EU also it put its money where its mouth is, so to speak, and it set up a number of programs. So for the first recommendation is actually the one where the programs have not really transpired, and there is in fact no harmonization currently about microfinance in Europe. In some countries, there's a specific statute for microfinance institutions. Some countries just leave it as a gray zone that's not acknowledged, and some countries say it's illegal to give any credit if you don't have a banking license. So this is a problem of definitions and convergence, which is something that's echoed in social economy more generally. So the question for the future on this is, will access to finance or social and inclusive entrepreneurship be reflected in the action plan? Because that would give a new thrust towards improvements at national level for the treatment of these organizations. And will the general regulatory framework for self-entrepreneurship be improved? So lowering the threshold to become an entrepreneur, putting in place more safeguards for entrepreneurs so that they don't risk falling into poverty if their businesses don't do well. Then the second axis there, so the EU should provide technical assistance and access to finance, was actually quite well addressed by EU policy so far. So there were 3 programs. There was the Jasmine program, the Progress Microfinance Facility. Both of those programs ran from 2007 till 2013. And the first one set up technical assistance and launched the European Code of Good Conduct for microfinance. And the second one set up loans and financial guarantees for microfinance. Those 2 programs were then succeeded by the EASY financial instruments, the Employment and Social Innovation financial instruments, which now also extend to social enterprises. And this has been a very effective tool for us. So this has really helped the sector a lot. However, now, of course, it's coming towards its end. So the questions that come from that are, what will the successor programs look like? They will come under InvestEU, no doubt. But what will they have the same shape as EASY, or will they be more accessible for small MFIs? Will they allow for innovative approaches? So these are big questions, and I know we can't answer them today, but this is just our input into the discussion going forward. And then, of course, the European Social Fund has also played a role in the past, but typically we would like to see more collaborations between managing authorities at regional and local level with microfinance institutions, because their goals and objectives, they overlap very strongly, and so they should leverage each other. So anyway, for all this contribution, we're very happy to now be at the table. This is also one reason why we just became a member of Social Economy Europe, and we're very happy to see all the stakeholders around the table and to contribute to the discussion. I did just less than 6 minutes, I checked, so thank you.
You did it super well. Thank you very much, Oscar. And now we will move to the other side of the table, the European instrument, the European Investment Fund, which is one of the main instruments of the European Investment Bank. So one of the main instruments of the European Union to promote investments into strategic projects. And the floor is, I will give the floor to Mr. Hubert Cottoni, Director, Head of Mandate Management at the European Investment Fund. Hubert, are you with us? Yeah.
Yes, Victor, can you hear me clear?
We hear you very well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Victor, for the invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I also try to stick to the 5 minutes I've been granted. Before I go in the areas of discussing the future, I just would like to remind us all what the EIF is standing for. We indeed, European Investment Fund, is part of the European Investment Bank Group. And our business model is, what I always say, very simple. At the end of the day, we finance financial intermediaries who then on-lend the activities or these resources to the concerned enterprises. And when we look at this particular, the social sector, we have started our activity with the help of the Commission about 10 years ago, with about 25 million of a guarantee. Today, we have a portfolio of 1.3 billion euro under management, which shows a market impact of approximately 4.7 billion of financing in the particular sector. What is important, that over time we have added, and Oscar just mentioned a few of those, we have added several mandates. In short, we are managing the EASY mandate. We have also social sector activities under the EFSI, the European Fund for Strategic Investment. And more recently, we have added the Social Impact Accelerator, the SEIG program. And under these programs, we have different products that starts with guarantee products. So indeed, we are providing guarantees to microfinance institutions, to banks, to various financial institutions to be able to lend to particular enterprises at preferred terms. We have also this funding available to support equity instruments, and I guess, and in particular, the EIF believes that equity is equally important as debt financing. And last but not least, we have hybrid products which are loan products under the easy funded. You might be familiar with the payment by result or the social impact bonds, of where we have done several operations, for instance, in Finland, where we have a program to integrate refugees in the labor market, but also in Holland, where we have a program to help military personnel to reintegrate in the labor and social market again, and equally in France. Now, the rationale for our intervention is, and that is rather important, is on one hand to design of an instruments which cover the larger spectrum of financial intermediaries. So what is important, that we don't have a piecemeal. We would like to have instruments at hand which allow for the entire spectrum to be supported. That is critical for us. So it's not only about ethical banks and microfinance institutions. We would like, and I like to reiterate this over and over again, we would like to have products at hand which support the entire financial market, which is geared towards support of the social sector. The second point is that we shall try, together with the Commission and the Member States, to ensure a full spectrum approach. What does this mean? This means financing enterprises from the very early stage, from the startup all the way up to the growth stage. We see more and more that enterprises are able to develop themselves, but get stuck halfway through their mission. And here we have to have seamless instruments to allow the growth of these companies within Europe. The other point is, and that is equally critical, we have achieved jointly a lot. So a proactive contribution is critical in the development, but having achieved is just half the story. We have to make our stories more aware. We have to put more visibility on the sector, and we have to jointly raise awareness for the sector more generally, in order primarily to get the private sector engaged in our mission. In total, so far, we have reached out to 160,000 companies throughout Europe in various sectors, starting with the food sector, so that indeed it's the production and distribution of affordable food which we support. I would not want to underestimate, for instance, the creative and cultural sector, which we are supporting, many of which are self-employed in this particular area. The skills and education sector, where we have focused a lot, but also where we have done a lot is in helping new business models to emerge in the sector, for instance, in the incubators, accelerators, and the like. But what we also saw is that it's not only about providing finance, it's also providing support in the development and in the establishment of these enterprises. So what we would like to see is more of the combination between a financial instrument and a grant, or an embedded grant, but also technical assistance. I guess here we have to do more than what we have seen in the past. If we look at the portfolio of enterprises supported, I can say that 70% of the enterprise supported are indeed startups. More than 40%, which we supported over the past years, were people who were before the activity unemployed, and we have reached out to many female entrepreneurs, where our activities have really helped and motivated females to start their enterprises going forward. What we observe going forward is new geographies are on the rise. In particular, in Central and Eastern Europe, we see more and more demand coming up. But we also see that more specialized intermediaries are being created throughout Europe. And we have to be careful in order to reach a critical mass when looking at financial intermediaries. I would like to reiterate, the real need is not only about the financial support, but really the capacity building, the hand-holding, the development of those activities going forward. In the transition, and obviously due to COVID, and here I would like to thank the Commission for their great and quick support, we have seen an immediate 1 billion of euro being made available by the Commission under COSME and Innofin. And as you might know, in particular, COSME is a program which is directed to high-risk companies, to very small enterprises. And this 1 billion is hopefully, and what we see right now, it's very realistic, will be generating approximately 8 billion of financing. We have finally concluded, after many weeks of negotiation with the member states, with 27 an agreement on a pan-European guarantee fund for a contribution from member states for 25 billion, which is hopefully aiming to reach about 200 billion of finance in small enterprises, medium enterprises throughout Europe. So that is all very quick aid, which is coming before InvestEU is coming into force, and I guess this is critical. We have, however, also heard, and I guess Daniel made reference to this, that some of the conditions, in particular on the EC, needed to be reconsidered, needed to be relaxed in order to have the critical impact in the market today. And I can promise you that we have been engaging in very serious discussions with the Commission to really consider this. And I hope we can reply very quickly with good news on the relaxation. What we would like to see going forward is indeed, as we have started with various pilots, and we have now a portfolio of various initiatives, as I said, from guarantees, very small activities, all the way to equity instruments. We would like to see in the next generation that these products become scalable. What do you mean with this? It means really that that EASY, for instance, really becomes a fully fledged, from startup all the way up to growth spectrum, an instrument which we can readily deploy into the market. What we also need is that we have to embrace the entire spectrum. That means that the clustering which we see right now is potentially not very helpful in order to support the sector in the long run, and in particular to mobilize the private investors to join us in our activities. So we really need, as I said before, these seamless instruments throughout the industry. Last not least, and this was mentioned before as well, financial instruments are only one part of a big and important value chain. What comes first, obviously, the regulation. We heard about this in the microfinance, that some regulatory bodies, some member states even don't recognize microfinance institutions if they don't have a full license. So regulation comes first. We really have to, out from Brussels, support member states in getting a better regulation, a more market-oriented regulation going. We have to support this particular sector indeed with grants. It does not only work with financial instruments, but the combination is important. And last not least, was also said by Oscar, I guess, and we have tried the hard way, unfortunately, to combine, for instance, the social aspects of EFSI with ESF in member states. So, for instance, in Spain, but also in Romania. And we failed, and I guess we will have to, at the level of the European Union, really think hard how we can make the combination of resources more easy, and by doing so, again, mobilize private investors more easily. Looking forward, the action plan for social economy and social investments and skills windows under EFSI provides for us, as far as we are concerned, a real opportunity. I hope the lessons learned so far will be implemented as we get into the negotiation of these windows and the regulation in more detail. But I'm quite positive as I see the reaction of the Commission and the readiness of the Parliament to listen to us when we share with them our lessons learned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Cotonnier. Indeed, there is a lot of space for cooperation. A lot of strategic projects have been mentioned today: collective entrepreneurships, workers' buyouts, to save jobs and enterprises, and also to save strategic industrial sites, welfare projects, inclusion. There is a lot to do to improve access to finance for these projects, and I am sure that we will have the opportunity to cooperate together also with the European Commission and the European Parliament, as you said. We will move to the last speaker of this roundtable, Mrs. Jeanne Brétecher. Jeanne is president of the Social Good Accelerator, an organization that helps social digital innovation. Jeanne, we are more than 30 minutes late, so you are the last one in the panel, so I will ask you to be as short as possible to go to the conclusion remarks. Thank you, Jeanne.
Roger, Victor. Hello to everyone. I'm really glad to be invited today and to see all this expertise and commitment gathered here. So to be very fast, I will talk about digital social innovation today. We are a young movement of young social entrepreneurs and non-profits, and also citizens committed to a more digitalized social economy and civil society in Europe. And we gather more than 60 members in France and other countries. I would like to begin with the inspiration of our movement, which are programs funded by H 2020, which are digital social innovation, a research program with an amazing cartography of actors, and also a social innovation index you can see here all around Europe. So this is really precious information concerning digital innovation in Europe. Also CAPC, which is more a community and an advocacy program, and social innovation community, which is more peer-to-peer and sharing good practices program, but also an advocacy one. So as you can see, a lot have been achieved during the past mandate. And today our goal with Social Good Accelerator is to get social organizations fully recognized as actors of the tech transition in Europe. Why is it crucial to us to support the digital transition of social innovation organizations in Europe? Because as every SMEs and even more, social organizations need to gain efficiency in order to focus on their main social mission. So they need to enhance their organization, but also to facilitate social innovation. And in fact, it is to us a condition of their survival, as they are constantly challenged by public and private funders. But their economical model do not facilitate investments, and one of the biggest challenges to develop and grow social digital innovation in Europe, still access to funding. So we also need to spread awareness among public funders and philanthropy networks. Also because there are digital mediators among population who suffer of the digital divide. And if you want to address the digital divide in Europe, we saw how deep it is during this crisis, we need to empower the intermediaries, that is to say social workers and organizations. And we have to scale up digital mediation. And in that prospects, Fab Labs and makers during the crisis were really inspiring. And also because social organizations bear the vision of a more inclusive, democratic and green society that should be at the heart of the European digital transition. So we also need to raise the voices as stakeholders in the democratic debate on tech society. So our mission is firstly to contribute to disseminate non-profit tech culture and know-how in Europe, then to help influence European policy to speed up the digital integration of social organizations, and also to create cooperations between actors in the field of technology and social innovation. Our first step was to launch a research program, and we presented that study to 4 DGs of the European Commission last January. So in order to share the main learnings, social organizations mainly need to gain tech skills into their own organization. And for example, pro bono is a good way to transfer skills, but only if the skills remain in the organization after the volunteer regain his company. Also lack of resources and public funding. We already knew that, but it's confirmed. And also their wish to innovate through digital opportunities by working with more closely with research entities. So we see with these learnings that skills, fundings, and cooperation are really at the heart of digital transition for social organizations. So we presented a recommendation to the European Commission, first to better recognize social organizations as central actors in European innovation, with increased investments, of course, to encourage skills sharing and trainings to accelerate their digital transition, also to encourage the cooperations, to enhance the impact of technology on social innovation with a common frame of reference, and to change the frameworks for public and private support to encourage cooperation and to support their digital transition. I will end my intervention with this example also of a program we are leading. We are currently into a consultation of social economy and civil society organizations to build a position paper on EU data and AI strategies. And this is really important for social economy organization to be part of this conversation. And the first outputs we had from our consultation is about new economic models, for example, on data sets. Maybe EU should develop specific data sets for social economy. Also inclusive training into data or AI jobs. And in that field, integration economy is a way to better include social economy organization. Also a taxation on AI to fund better social economy organization, and maybe AI economical cooperation pools inspired of economical territorial cooperation pools that were developed especially in France. I will end here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeanne, for being so brief and for this very interesting presentation and for the work you do. We will pass now to the conclusions with 3 MEPs representing 3 different political groups that are also co-chairs of the Social Economy Intergroup. So we will have on the first place Manon Aubry, President of the GUE-NGL, President of the European Left, Leopoldo Lopez, co-chair of the Social Economy Intergroup on behalf of the EPP, Monica Semedo, co-chair on behalf of Renew, and then we will end with Social Economy Europe Vice President Jérôme Sadier, and of course with comments from our co-hosts Sven Giegold and Patrizia Toia, if they want to say a final goodbye to participants. So without further ado, I pass the floor to Mrs. Manon Aubry, co-chair of the Social Economy Intergroup.
Thanks very much, and thanks everyone for participating. I will try to keep it short, and hopefully I will be complimented by my colleagues. On my side, there would be 3 main messages that I would put at this time to underline the role of the social economy in the current context, and in particular in the social recovery. One is that, of course, social economy has been severely tested, I would say, by the outbreak of the crisis, but on the other hand, I believe is one of the cornerstones of our resilience. Organizations have been at the forefront in fighting the virus. Sometimes it's been local networks of cooperation and solidarity. It's been health insurance mutuals, cooperatives that worked for free to provide sanitary protection. So I think that's also one of the lessons learned of the crisis, is that actually our society is built on some of those organizations. And those organizations can be more resilient, with an objective to protect jobs and and income, but also put the collective project of the organization before distributing dividends, which has been one of the issues discussed during the crisis. The second conclusions I would draw is that all of the initiatives that have been taken during months of quarantine, they share the social economy core principles. And there's been several examples of this, like the creation of non-profit association to distribute sanitary protections for homeless people, for example. And overall, but that's my own analysis, that I believe months of crisis have changed our relation to the production of the necessary goods, to our immediate environments, and to solidarity. And in a way, those values are the core values of the social economy. So maybe the transition of our economy might have started sort of at the grassroots level, that's sort of spontaneously. Now the way forward, and that's probably the most important point, is how do we build a new economy using the social economy as an inspiration, both supporting the social economy that has suffered in particular during the crisis, but also how do we build the new economy with the recovery plan, for example, at the EU level that is more resilient, and how do we build on social economy for this? So we must, in that direction, I think we must ensure that social economy organizations are eligible through all of the funds that will be dispersed, that have been already, but will also in the frame of the EU recovery plan. And that those organizations play a crucial role in the European recovery strategy by also serving as an inspiration sort of for larger companies that have not always behaved well in front of the crisis. And it's hard to understand for a lot of citizens that many efforts have been done by citizens and frontline workers, but on the other hand, we are witnessing some of the ecological or social irresponsible behaviors by some of the largest companies, especially when they're receiving large amount of public money. So one of the way forward on top of the social economy strategy at the EU level, I think, is the list of requirements that we can expect from the Commission to benefit from public aid and state aid, and as part of the larger recovery plan. And I think, and that's one of the proposals of our group, is to discuss a list of requirements for companies to benefit from state aid. And if we were to set up those criteria, then obviously this will also very much favor social economy activity. And that's why we believe that the European Commission should propose to member states a list of requirements, including fiscal, social, but also environmental counterparts to benefit from state aid. And at the core of it, or in a way, the core value of social economy, and the different relation we have with the economic sector, building on a more resilient economy, and building on all of the examples that you've been presenting during this seminar. And I think that's a very important aspect of the coming months, which will probably also give some credibility to the Green New Deal at the European level, and would present the social economy as a way forward for rebuilding, because in a way it's destroyed, for rebuilding our economy in the coming months. And I hope there can be many of us working together, taking concrete examples from some of the social economy organizations present today, but other that you are working with, and that we in a way can be your voice in the parliament to advocate for those criteria to support the companies that I think should build the future in the post-COVID strategy. And I will stop there, not to be too long.
Thanks a lot, Manon, also for this offering and this willingness to cooperate through the intergroup and be the voice of all social economy actors in Europe. Leopoldo Lopez has the floor, co-chair of the Social Economy Intergroup on behalf of the EPP.
Muy buenas tardes. En primer lugar, muchísimas gracias al Social Economy Intergroup por esta invitación. Ha sido una experiencia maravillosa haber aprendido de tantas y tan buenas experiencias que se han dado en el mundo de la economía social. La economía social está llamada a jugar un papel fundamental en la reactivación de nuestro continente después de esta crisis causada por el COVID-19, así como en la creación y el mantenimiento de empleos de calidad. Es necesario salir de esta pandemia más solidarios para ser más fuertes en los advenimientos futuros y contrarrestar la incertidumbre económica en la que estamos sumidos en Europa. En primer lugar, para ello, debemos apostar por nuestro recurso humano, acompañándolo y animando a los más jóvenes a desarrollar proyectos estratégicos de emprendimiento de forma colectiva, una forma más resiliente de emprendimiento y socialmente responsable. Tenemos que fomentar y acompañar a los emprendedores colectivos en toda Europa, a través de marcos jurídicos, instituciones y finanzas apropiadas y efectivas para generar una mayor inclusión y una mayor cohesión social. Además, las empresas colectivas en las que trabajo y la propiedad están fusionadas, nunca deslocalizan y resisten la crisis aplicando las estrategias de flexibilidad interna. Es fundamental buscar una fórmula parecida a la del programa Erasmus en la educación superior para la economía social. Con este fin, promovamos y favorezcamos el intercambio del conocimiento, el know-how y las buenas prácticas a nivel europeo. Por ejemplo, la utilización de instrumentos de transferencia de empresas en crisis al borde del cierre a sus empleados. Esto puede salvar a las mismas, junto que a muchísimos puestos de trabajo en toda Europa. Esta fue una herramienta ya utilizada anteriormente y actualmente es más o menos común en países como España, Italia o Francia. Un largo camino nos queda aún por recorrer para aprender esto. No existe una gran mayoría para ello en Europa. En segundo lugar, hay que destacar la economía social como una aliada de las administraciones públicas para fortalecer la cohesión y la inserción y los sistemas de bienestar desde la perspectiva empresarial. Debemos promover la participación y la creación de empresas de economía social en el ámbito de los servicios sociales, como las empresas sin ánimo de lucro o con la lucratividad limitada, como pueden ser fundaciones, mutualidades o cooperativas, lo cual no quiere decir que las mismas no busquen beneficios, pues todos sabemos que sin beneficios no subsisten las empresas. Lo que querrá decir es que los beneficios se reinvertirán para ofrecer un mejor servicio y una mejor calidad de vida. Asimismo, también debemos promover el papel de las empresas de inserción y en centros especiales de empleo para garantizar la plena inclusión en el mercado laboral y en la sociedad de las personas más vulnerables. En tercer lugar, la economía social puede ayudar en la transición a una economía más verde, como por ejemplo, mediante la creación de cooperativas en las energías renovables, en las cuales la energía se produce o compra con la participación de los ciudadanos. Además, seguir fomentando el papel de la economía social en la economía circular, principalmente a través de empresas de inserción dedicadas a la reutilización, la reparación y el reciclaje. En cuarto lugar, el sector digital es una de las esferas más económicas y sociales de más rápida evolución en todo el mundo. Esta crea oportunidades para el desarrollo sostenible y el crecimiento inclusivo, donde se posiciona la economía social. Esta evolución, resultado de una demanda creciente impulsada por los beneficios que el sector digital aporta a los ciudadanos, se ha hecho más que evidente durante la pandemia del COVID-19. No queda ninguna duda de que el futuro es digital, aunque esta crisis ha anticipado este escenario mucho más. Pero el futuro también debe ser justo, inclusivo, democrático y con empleos de calidad. Es por ello que necesitamos fomentar e impulsar la digitalización de las empresas y entidades conformadas por el modelo de la economía social. En quinto lugar, para financiar esta transición hacia una economía al servicio de las personas y el planeta y movilizar todo el potencial de la economía social, necesitamos fondos e inversiones que la Unión Europea pone a nuestro alcance. Primero, mediante el mecanismo de una transición justa, que cuenta con varias fuentes de financiación, como ejemplo, el Fondo de Transición Justa o el Fondo de InvestEU, el Fondo Social Europeo, con los fondos FEDER y otros fondos europeos de interés para la economía social. En conclusión, Europa debe actuar como líder global en la economía social y promover este modelo como un vector de desarrollo sostenible en el mundo. Europa debe, a través de su agenda global, asegurar la estabilidad y la cohesión en el desarrollo sostenible, especialmente en los países de nuestra vecindad, sur, el este, pero también en regiones como en América Latina, África o Asia. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Leopoldo. We will give the floor now to Mónica Semedo, co-chair of the Social Economy Intergroup. Mónica, the floor is yours.
Muchas gracias. Saludos de Luxemburgo. I will continue, of course, in English. So I would like to thank Commissioner Schmit, Minister Díaz, you fellow chairs, and Social Economy Europe for organizing this event and your contributions. It was very interesting to hear the different ideas on how we can develop the European Action Plan and the role of social economy enterprises that they can play in the economic and social recovery of Europe. In these unprecedented times, besides the health crisis, which is still a priority, we must consider the economy and help companies and people who are struggling, because many jobs are at risk and people are worried. Entrepreneurs are thinking about what will happen to the businesses that they have just set up. Civil society organizations have been at the forefront of fighting the pandemic in Europe, often stepping in at a moment's notice to plug huge gaps in the public provision of social services and healthcare. The EU's adoption of the coronavirus response investment initiative will support EU member states to strengthen healthcare systems and support micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, short-term working schemes and community-based services. However, social economy enterprises are not specifically mentioned. Conversely, the SURE scheme should be accessible to all forms of enterprises and organizations. On a social perspective, lockdown measures have affected everyone. However, the impact has been uneven, resulting in exacerbating inequalities. It won't just stop after the lockdown, it will affect a whole generation. Social economy enterprises should be an integral part of the solution. They can help to solve market and government failures by serving excluded and vulnerable populations, which are most at risk to impact of COVID-19. As a shadow for European Social Fund Plus, I want to integrate the social economy in EU funds and programs. I will push for synergies with the Horizon Europe program and ensure that the ESF Plus can mainstream and scale up innovative curricula supported by Horizon Europe in order to equip people with the skills and competences needed for the jobs of the future. The ESF Plus should aim to promote employment through active interventions, enabling reintegration into the labor market, notably for youth, the long-term unemployed and the inactive, as well as through promoting self-employment and the social economy. Social economy enterprises create jobs. They help to make our society and economy more social, more green, more digital. They are the jobs of tomorrow as well, and help the excluded and disadvantaged in our society. Often people think wealthy countries like Luxembourg, where I am from, do not have socioeconomic problems. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Many people have fallen on hard times and need help. And all they need is a second chance, in fact, and to be given opportunities. This is very important to me. That is what it's all about. That is what I got, what my family had got here in Luxembourg. In the Grand Duchy, social economy enterprises are helping to enhance employment, work-life balance, social integration, and equal chances. They offer reintegration measures on the first job market, help job seekers with its socio-educational service, advice service on over-indebtedness, and contributes towards a society for equal opportunities, housing, work, training, and continuing education, enables social integration and prevent exclusion of sections of the population. The ESF Plus should promote women's participation in the labor market through measures aiming to ensure, amongst others, improved work-life balance and access to childcare. There's one project, Women in Digital Empowerment. It has started as a non-profit organization aimed at empowering women by increasing their digital competencies. They started with no money, slowly, without previous experience in the IT field. Everyone suggested big IT companies would support them financially, but that was not the case. They had to find other means for the financing, such as grants and Erasmus+. But they are part of the FemSTEM coaching, a new Erasmus+ project. The main aim of this project is to coach women in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and to support them at all stages of their career. They aim to reduce the soft skills gender gap that exists between women and men in STEM by providing women with tools and techniques to build up their self-confidence, which is very important, as well as their employability skills via e-coaching and face-to-face programs. Women in Digital is an example showing the lack of access for finance for social economy enterprises. It is one of the main obstacles of business creation, especially among people furthest from the labor market. The ESF Plus regulation lays down provisions in order to create a market ecosystem to increase the supply and access to finance for social enterprises, as well as to meet the demand from those who need it the most, and in particular, the unemployed, women, and vulnerable people who wish to start or develop a micro enterprise. This objective will also be addressed through financial instruments and budgetary guarantee under the Social Investment and Skills Policy window of the InvestEU Fund. We can further support the creation and development of social economy and enterprises, like there's another project here in Luxembourg, 601, which provides for a structure that supports social entrepreneurs when launching their activity and allows them to have a professional workspace at an accessible rate. Additionally, they offer a comprehensive support program allowing entrepreneurs to have access in one place to training, advice, financing, networking, and to participate in conferences and debates. I think it's important to recognize all these successes and these innovative ideas that are promoted and should be further promoted. Competitions and award schemes rewarding promising social enterprises and social entrepreneurs help increase the visibility of the concept, to celebrate achievement and to promote a culture of social entrepreneurship. I think this is a very important to do in the future, and that people know what it is about. So what can be our next steps? Firstly, a common understanding of social economy enterprises and organizations in Europe, a shared, let's call it taxonomy, as well as a legal framework are important to allow the sector to develop properly. By removing the legal obstacles, social economy enterprises will then be able to take the full advantage of the single market and of EU funds and financial instruments. It is essential that we support them to generate social and technological innovations. We need now more than ever innovative ideas to solve the problems of today and the future, including social, employment, sustainable, and digital matters. Therefore, we need a strong EU budget. I call on the Council. A budget that takes into account the new challenges of that COVID-19 has brought. Well, I look forward to working with you, my fellow colleagues and co-chairs and vice-chairs, with the Commissioner Schmit, Social Economy Europe, of course, and social economy enterprises to help drive this important sector forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your intervention, Mrs. Semedo, for your proposals and for the examples of social economy entrepreneurship that you gave, and also for the proposals to create this culture of social economy entrepreneurship. We will conclude, as we're a bit late, we will try to conclude now the event with an intervention from Jérôme Sadier, President of ESS-France and Vice President of Social Economy Europe. Jérôme, the floor is yours. Jérôme, are you with us? Yeah. Just a sec. Yeah. Now we hear you, Jérôme.
For you?
Yeah, now we hear you.
Okay. Okay, first I apologize, but I will speak in French willingly. Tout d'abord, je voudrais remercier les organisateurs de cette manifestation. Nous étions plus de 700 inscrits et je crois que c'est un succès reconnu pour la relance de cet intergroupe. C'est une illustration de la force et de l'intérêt que l'économie sociale suscite dans le contexte que nous connaissons aujourd'hui. Je voudrais féliciter notre président Juan Antonio Pedreño et les 5 co-présidents de l'intergroupe parlementaire sur le contexte, et je m'exprimerai d'abord en tant que vice-président de Social Economy Europe, sur le contexte, je crois qu'il... Mais comme le disait Jean Monnet, l'un des fondateurs de l'Union européenne, les hommes ne voient la nécessité que dans la crise, et je crois que nous sommes dans ce moment. D'ailleurs, la nouvelle Commission européenne a décidé de s'appuyer sur l'économie sociale dès le début de son mandat. C'est assez inédit pour nous, à condition, ça marchera à condition qu'il y ait une cohérence dans les différentes politiques menées et que ce soit une volonté soutenue par l'ensemble des États. Nous savons qu'il y a aujourd'hui des politiques sectorielles qui vont intégrer les dimensions de l'économie sociale. Nous savons qu'il y a des outils financiers qui sont à l'étude. Nous savons aussi qu'il y a le plan d'action sur lequel travaille le commissaire européen Nicolas Schmit, que je remercie de sa participation. Mais il faudra que cette mobilisation soit durablement inscrite dans les politiques publiques mises en place par la Commission. Ça doit aussi s'inscrire, c'est notre avis, dans une perspective relance. Nous avons beaucoup parlé de la façon de relancer l'économie en Europe avec nos spécificités et avec les atouts de l'économie sociale, mais les atouts de l'économie sociale sont aussi ceux d'une transformation possible de nos systèmes économiques. Et puis, il faudra aussi que cette relance qui précède une transformation grâce à l'économie sociale soit aussi l'occasion de promouvoir l'augmentation des droits sociaux en Europe. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous travaillons Social Economy Intergroup et sa possible extension. Mon deuxième point, ce sera en tant que président de ESS-France. Nous savons assez précisément en France que notre modèle économique et social doit à l'économie sociale. Nous avons travaillé, à la demande du haut-commissaire Claudia Fiaschi, à un plan de relance de l'économie sociale pour surmonter les effets de la crise, mais aussi un plan de transformation de l'économie. Nous avons produit un document que j'ai partagé déjà avec Social Economy Europe, qui doit aussi servir de contribution de la France dans les travaux européens, notamment avec le commissaire européen. Nous avons produit de créer de nouvelles filières favorables à l'économie sociale ou de transformer certaines filières, notamment à la faveur de relocalisation, de réappropriation d'activités par les structures d'économie sociale. Le deuxième enjeu, c'est la construction de territoires favorables au développement de l'économie sociale. Nous savons que ces territoires ne sont pas tous aussi favorables les uns que les autres, que ce soit dans chacun des États-nations que au sein, entre États européens. Donc, nous souhaitons créer des écosystèmes favorables au développement de territoires pour l'économie sociale. Le troisième enjeu, c'est celui des innovations sociales. Nous savons que dans un contexte de crise, il y a des besoins nouveaux qui se font sentir et des choses qui ne pourront plus être faites comme avant. La voie de l'innovation sociale est évidemment un moyen de changer d'environnement. Quatrièmement, les entreprises pour la transformation. Nous avons besoin de mesures de soutien spécifiques de nos entreprises, notamment celles qui sont sous la forme coopérative ou sous la forme mutualiste. Nous avons besoin, c'est le cinquième enjeu, d'outils financiers et nous avons plaidé pour que le gouvernement français consacre 20% des crédits de la relance économique aux entreprises de l'économie sociale. Et nous avons besoin aussi de porter une ambition plus globale parce qu'il y a des enjeux qui seront au sein de l'Union européenne, d'autres qui seront d'ailleurs des enjeux internationaux. Vous savez sans doute qu'au niveau de l'ONU, il y a aussi des travaux qui sont en cours qui permettront demain de faire de demain. C'est en tout cas ainsi que nous le présentons en France. Et puis mon troisième et dernier point, c'est en tant que citoyen français et européen que je le dirais, mais pas en le réservant aux Français, pour le coup. Il s'agit de dire que le soutien à l'économie sociale va plus loin que la relance économique. Je l'ai dit déjà à propos de la transformation nécessaire. La crise que nous connaissons n'est pas qu'une crise sanitaire. Ses effets, et puis d'ailleurs son amplification à l'échelle mondiale, sont aussi la résultante d'un modèle économique dont il va falloir aujourd'hui dépasser les fondamentaux. Il faut donc construire autre chose et l'économie sociale doit être un moyen de construire autre chose à condition d'avoir cette ambition, cette détermination évidemment, mais d'avoir une vision politique portée notamment par l'économie sociale. C'est le sens de l'appel que j'ai lancé aux acteurs français de l'économie sociale pour qu'ils se réapproprient une vision plus politique, parce que ce qui me semble finalement en jeu derrière cette crise, ce n'est pas simplement la relance des activités, c'est, je crois, une certaine conception de la démocratie. Les entreprises de l'économie sociale, les entreprises sociales promeuvent une certaine conception de la démocratie dans l'économie, dans l'entreprise, mais je crois que tout simplement, qui parfois est menacée en Europe et ailleurs, évidemment, dans d'autres pays du monde, on le voit bien aujourd'hui. Nous avons la conviction que l'économie sociale joue un rôle dans la promotion et le développement de la démocratie. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Jérôme. Just to explain to participants, we didn't have French interpretation, so it's not the fault of interpreters that you haven't heard the interpretation. In the future, we will foresee also French interpretation to ensure that everyone can express and hear correctly the interventions. I will give a last, thank you all for having been here. We have been more than 400 people during these events. We are doing something historic. We are building a social economy. We are networking and building a strong social economy community. These will have an impact. And I will take a sentence of my president, of Juan Antonio Pedreño, to conclude that he always uses: alone we are invisible, together we are unstoppable. And this is a demonstration. Together we can shape a better future of Europe. Thanks to all the speakers. And I don't know if any MEP or Juan Antonio want to say a word and goodbye to the participants. I don't think so. So goodbye and thank you all very much. Yeah, Patrizia Toia has a word. Sorry. Just a second, Patrizia, now you can
only to thank all participants. A big thank you to all.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. Bye.